of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Clifton McNeil is suing his ex-fiancée, Rashina Jones, for the return of tools, a basketball hoop, and an engagement ring.
Order. All rise. Now it's case number 345 on the calendar in the matter of McNeil versus Jones.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. McNeil, what kind of work do you do?
I'm an employee packaging department for Fresenius Cobby, Your Honor, in Grand Island, New York.
How long have you been there?
Since February of this year, Your Honor.
Prior to that, where were you working?
I was working for RTI Groceries and Deli.
And you, Miss Jones, what kind of work do you do?
I own a grocery store and a deli, and I work for the VA.
This is what this case is about. The two of you lived together for about 3.5 years. And Mr. McNeil gave you a ring. You were engaged to be married. According to him, he lived with you and your children.
Yes.
Above a store that you work?
Yes.
That's yours? So you have an apartment above the store that you own?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. McNeil says he participated working in that store during the course of the 3.5 years, but the relationship went south. He left, and according to Mr. McNeil, he left some property there. He left the engagement ring there. He paid for the basketball hoop.
About $480, roughly.
$480.
Yes, ma'am.
And when did you purchase it?
May of 2015 from Walmart.
And who used it?
My son and her daughter.
Was your son living with you?
No, but he comes over visiting.
Well, so when he visited, but her daughter used it.
Yes.
So it was bought for her daughter to use and for your son and her daughter to use when your son was there.
Yes, Your Honor, but primary is for my son's use, so if I leave, I would want the rim to leave, so
I don't care. That's ridiculous.
You don't care.
Ridiculous. Okay. So you left the engagement ring, the basketball hoop, and what else?
Miscellaneous tools, which I'm not concerned about because I have no pictures to prove that I left them there.
So that we're here talking about an engagement ring.
Yes, Your Honor.
You see what a fair person I am, Miss Jones?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where's the ring?
I don't have the ring, Your Honor.
That's not what listen to me. Where's the ring? We women understand each other.
Yes.
So I'm asking you, where is it? I sold it. I lost it. I gave it to my daughter. I gave it to my cousin. I threw it out a window. I'm asking you, where is it?
He had the choice to go upstairs and get all his belongings, and he had bought watches and rings. It was all on his own. I haven't seen it since he left.
So your answer is you haven't seen the ring since he left?
Yes, Your Honor.
You were not wearing it when he left?
Absolutely not.
On what date did he leave?
April, sometime in April.
And when did you stop wearing the ring?
Like months ago. I don't wear jewelry. I never really wore it a long length of time anyhow.
Well, the ring that he bought you, when did he give it to you?
In 2014. I think I only wore it about a month because I move with my hands, so I never wear jewelry on my hands too much.
Is there any reason why you weren't married 2 years later?
Well, job, it takes money to get married, and
Well, he really didn't want more money. He was living in your house anyway.
Right. But, I mean, it took more than just living in my house. We, take two to get married, and we just never got married because we never had the funding, and it just didn't work out. No hard feelings about that. I worked hard all my life, and,
Mr. McNeil, she says that you took all of your jewelry when you left, including that watch that I assume you took, the watch that you're wearing?
No, ma'am. She talking about the watches I bought her. I never took
I'm talking about that watch that you're wearing.
I didn't have this watch when I was with her.
You didn't? You just bought that watch?
This is recently.
You must have had a stroke of good fortune.
Yes, casino, Niagara Casino.
She doesn't have the ring.
Yeah.
Show me proof that she has the ring.
And she said that she ain't wear the ring until 2014.
No, not what I asked you. I see it's on her. I see that's on her finger. Is that taken after you left in April?
No.
You left and he left in April, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that picture taken after April?
No, Your Honor.
She says she doesn't have the ring. You want
to... Your Honor, of course she's going to deny that.
No, that's not what I asked you, sir. She said when you left, you took all your stuff.
I didn't take everything.
Mr. McNeil, all I want to know is, sir, whether you have proof that she had the ring after you left in April.
I can prove, Your Honor, that her credibility is not reliable, Your Honor. She told me that she was divorced, which she really wasn't.
All right, Mr. McNeil, listen to me, sir.
Well, I'm saying she's lying about the ring, Your Honor.
You lived in Miss Jones's apartment. She has a counterclaim. According to your complaint, you paid $1,400 for the ring that I assume you have proof of. Do you have proof of that?
Your Honor.
Fine. You don't have to show me. You have proof that you paid $1,400 for the ring. You lived in her home.
I worked.
You lived in her home. What was the rent arrangement in her home for you?
Wasn't one, Your Honor.
You never had any rent arrangement?
That was never established.
Did you have a joint bank account?
No, Your Honor.
Well, how did you pay your share of the bills?
Just right here, Your Honor. As you see, I worked for her.
I'd like to see it. How many hours a week did you work for her?
40+ hours. It was always 40+, Your Honor.
Is that true?
No, Your Honor. When he was working, it's about 2025, he stopped working because it wasn't working out. It wasn't
When
working
did he
out.
stop?
He worked there for about a couple months, and then we just...
Give me a month and year.
I say about August, in the summertime, August.
Of what year?
Of 2015.
And what did he do after August of 2015? Did he get another job?
No, Your Honor.
So what did he do?
He had got a job, then he stopped working. He just sat around.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. He got another job. He said he was working someplace.
He got a job, then he quit or got fired. I'm not sure. I wasn't there. And then he just...
He got a job doing what? Do you remember?
Working in this factory. A factory. I forgot exactly what he did. But he was there a couple months, about 2 months, and then he stopped.
What kind of factory?
Your Honor,
What? Listen to me. What kind of factory?
I'm trying to find out the same factory, Your Honor.
Did you get a job around
No,
August?
Your Honor. I did. I worked for RTR. That was the whole purpose of the commitment that I dealt with while I was involved with Miss Jones, Your Honor.
Where are you living now?
I'm living at 16th Avenue, Your Honor.
God, how much do you pay in rent?
$350 a month, Your Honor.
Who do you live with?
I live by myself.
And you're working?
Yes.
When did you get the job?
I got the job just before, 2 months before I left her.
So you had the job 2 months.
couldn't.
Shh. So you got the job 2 months before you left her in April. So you got the job in February. Pay attention.
Not factory job, Your Honor.
I don't care what kind of job. You got the job in February.
Yeah.
You got the job in February. You left in April.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that you weren't working 60 hours a week at her grocery then if you had another job.
No. Your Honor.
Don't tell me, Your Honor. I know who I am.
You're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I did work 40+ hours. She's sitting here lying in the courtroom, Your Honor.
Mr. McNeil, I'm going to throw you out of here. Now, I'm asking you a very simple question. You told me you got your present job that you're working out now in February. You still lived with Miss Jones in February and March. You didn't leave her house until April. That's in these papers. So for at least 2 months, you were working someplace other than her grocery store while you were living there.
She got compensated. She always got paid half my earnings on any job I had.
I'm throwing out your case because you're not answering my questions. We're done. We're going to be done with your case. Now we're going to go to the counterclaim. Do you understand me? I asked you simple questions. You have a scenario you want to get to. The answer is you worked someplace else other than her grocery store for 2 months while you were living there. So you weren't living there, working your full-time job at her grocery store. Therefore, you didn't pay any rent. There would be no reason for you to pay rent because you were working in the family business and go to work someplace else. And are not working in the family business, February and March. How much did you pay her for your upkeep? February and March. How much did you pay her for your upkeep?
$200, Your Honor.
$200 a month?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
No, Your Honor.
Of course not. He made up a number. He could have said $100. Okay. He could have said $400.
I know I could have said that, but why I lied?
Because the story has changed it.
Okay,
did he give you any money in February and March?
Yes, he did.
How much?
About $500.
Each month?
Yes.
You see, look at that. Look at that. She just said you gave her $500 each month in February and March. You said a couple hundred.
I didn't give her no 500. I know I didn't give her no 500 each month. But if she want to say that, I appreciate it.
Listen, folks, the love affair is over. The romance is over. I will say goodbye to you. Go find happiness elsewhere. She doesn't know where your ring is. And if he gave you $500 a month, which part of your counterclaim was for rent, and you just told me he gave you $500 for February and March, he gave you no. We're done. Goodbye.
And a damaged car, too.
Goodbye.
All right, so excuse me, step out.
She's lying clearly. Of course she's going to say I took everything.
Every good thing comes to an end.
When I asked her about the ring while I'm leaving, she said, you're not period. That's what type of woman she is. You know, her whole, she's a fraud.
I mean, when you hurt, you say mean things. And
being that she's out here in Hollywood, they might want to put her on the Lifetime channel because she's great at it.
Probably more angry with herself than me because I've never done anything to him.
But I do appreciate that she didn't kill me at the end.
I have nothing bad to say about him. Things end.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Vinny versus McCracken. Step forward.
Tanisha Vinny is suing mechanic Brian McCracken for losing her car.
Miss Finney, how do you know the defendant?
Through a friend, mutual friend.
How long have you known him?
Maybe about a year now.
And you knew he was a mechanic?
Yes.
You were having some trouble with the car that you owned. That was a 2005?
Well, I had body damage, that he also fixes.
It was just body damage?
Yes.
Had you been in an accident?
Yes.
When did you purchase the car?
August 4th, 2016.
From whom?
He's a friend, mutual friend.
Name?
Nathan.
Nathan what?
I don't know his last name.
Well, you had the title to the car, so you must have known the last name of the person.
Yes, I have it. It's on here. I have it.
What's his last name? Or take a look at the retail price of the 2005 Pontiac Grand Prix.
Nathan.
And how much did you pay, Mr. for the car in August?
$5,000.
$35.25.
You overpaid. Is that good condition, bad condition? What does it say?
Private party good.
Private party good. $35.25. You have proof that you paid him $5,000?
Yes.
I would just like to see proof why you paid him $1,500 more than the car is worth.
It came with extra things. It came with sounds and rims.
No.
Okay.
Doesn't do it for me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I took the car down to my shop. I locked it up, put the keys away, and the car went missing. I mean, I think she had something to do with the car missing. I'm not sure. But for the car to be taken out of my shop was just odd to me.
Mr. McCracken?
Yes, sir.
You have a drug problem, sir?
And later today,
You had used the car before on numerous occasions.
several occasions, right.
On this occasion, you had an accident with the car.
Right.
Right. So
and
don't tell me that the car was bad because you had used the car often before.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Tanisha Vinny says mechanic Brian McCracken mysteriously lost her car. She is suing for its value.
Now, proof that you paid him $5,000.
I don't have proof besides that it was switched over by a notary.
Did you pay him in check or cash?
Got a check from a car that I had wrecked from my insurance company, so I used that.
Well, what did you do, endorse the check over to him?
No, I cashed it through my bank and gave him the cash.
So, at some point in August, at the beginning of August...
No, I'm sorry, I said August. It was April 4th. I'm sorry, not August. It was April 4th that I purchased the car from him.
This all just happened, so it's part of the bank transaction. So you would have a transaction on April 4th, 2016 for a check that you were cashing that was going to be held against your account if you got your bank account, and you're telling me that that would be for $5,000?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
I don't have that.
They'll get it, unless you want to tell me how much you paid him for the car.
I paid him $5,000 cash.
Then you overpaid by $1,500. Now, when were you in the accident with the car?
July 17, 2016.
You dropped it off at his house?
Yes.
To fix the damage?
Yes.
On what date?
July 27, 2016.
What happened to her car?
I took the car down to my shop. I locked it up, put the keys away, and the car went missing. I don't know what happened to the car. It's just odd the car went missing, and she just keeps harassing me about it and harassing me about it.
Just a second.
So, I mean, I think she had something to do with the car missing. I'm not sure. But for the car to be taken, I just know it was stolen. That's all I can tell you,
You
Your
have
Honor.
a police report?
Yes, I do.
May I see it, please? Mr. McCracken,
Yes, Your Honor.
you have a drug problem, sir?
Used to, yes.
What?
Used to, yes.
Well, did you have a drug problem in July?
No, I was getting help then.
I have the landlord.
Just a second.
Like to speak, it's a witness.
Just a...
I used to work.
Listen to me. I didn't say yes.
Sorry.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
The roads were wet and the car spun out of control.
As a result of that accident, was the car undrivable?
Yes.
So I'd like you to explain to me why you think you're not responsible to replace the car.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Tanisha Vinny says mechanic Brian McCracken mysteriously lost her car. She is suing for its value.
Well, the incident report that the police took as a result of speaking to you say that your car was stolen and the value of it was $3,000.
Well, I looked up the Kelly Blue Book value.
Just a second.
Okay.
That's what it says.
Okay.
Listen! You had custody and control over it, in a safe condition. She gave you money towards fixing it. How much she gave you according to this, because they spoke to you.
We got the parts.
What difference does it make if she has the parts, Mr. McCracken, if she doesn't have the car? What is she
Well, we
supposed
paid
to do?
for them, didn't we? So, I mean, at least they were paid for. I didn't take the money and go blow it on anything.
Oh, I think you probably did, along with the car.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that the help you got in July helped you. Or if it did, maybe it came a little too late for her car. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,540. That's all. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I mean, the car was stolen. I didn't steal the car, so there's nothing else I could say.
I didn't think he would ever do it. He's done work on other cars of mine, and it was never an issue.
I think she had something to do with it, to tell you the truth.
So for this to happen, I don't know why it would ever happen.
Because she wanted $5 grand for a car that's only worth $3,500.
It's crazy.
I mean, you can't fight Judge Judy, so.
I'll never do business with him ever again, so.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Sly versus Randolph. Step forward.
Nija Sly is suing her former friend, Linda Randolph, for borrowing her car and totaling it.
Ms. Sly, according to you, you've known the defendant for 20 years. She's sort of close to you. She borrowed your car and totaled it. You want her to replace the car. What kind of car did you have?
A Honda Accord, 96, around February.
From whom?
From her daughter's boyfriend.
What did you pay for the car?
I paid $1,000.
Did you have an accident with the car?
Yes.
And as a result of that accident, was the car left undrivable?
Yes.
So I'd like you to explain to me why you think you're not responsible to replace the car that you were driving, you had an accident with. Certainly she did not have collision insurance with the car because the car is 20 years old. She paid a relatively small amount. Would you check on that car for me, will you, please, Bird? Why you don't think it's your responsibility?
Okay, so on said day that I borrowed Miss Sly's car, I used it and went down the road. I did have it was like a car accident. Not like I hit anybody, wasn't speeding. It was the car itself. The roads were wet and the car spun out of control.
So?
When the police arrived in the ambulance and all so forth, they explained to me that the car...
No, you can't tell me what anybody said to you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you had used the car before on numerous
occasions. On several occasions, right.
On numerous occasions. She let you borrow the car on numerous. This occasion, you had an accident with the car. So don't tell me that the car was bad because you had used the car often before.
Okay.
You had used the car often before.
Okay.
Without any incident.
Without any incident.
Correct. So.
Okay. So at the accident scene.
How much does it cost?
$2,600.
And you paid $1,000 for it?
Yes, it was a used car from some guy he knew. It was just sitting there, so he wanted to get rid of the car. So
fine. It's a bargain. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,000. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Division over her dead mother's vehicle.
The truck really should have been yours.
She's telling everybody that we were divorced.
You may not want to treat it as a marriage, but your mother treated it as a marriage.
Next Judge Judy.
Next on WBZ Channel 4.
She called me and told me that she got into a car accident.
And the car spun out of control.
I asked her what happened. She said that she swerved.
She was upset.
And did a 360 and rolled 3 times.
Her car was totaled.
She was gonna get a car.
Take the responsibility, but she didn't want the car I wanted to give her.
That wasn't to the condition my car was in.
I was purchasing her car. She didn't want it.
I'm gonna get any piece of junk.
She wanted a $2,600 car. I didn't have it.
I kept calling her saying, where's my car?
Was this limo driver covering up a crash?
Give me the date that the accident happened.
It wasn't an accident.
Well, you hit something.
In fact, I don't even think I even hit anything, and he's saying that I did.
But she can't stall the judge forever.
Where did it take place?
He said...
Where? Listen to me. You know, I don't believe a word that you're saying to me.
Well, anyway...
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Limo company owner Francis Tuzolino Jr. is suing his former employee, Michelle Kirshner, for limo damages and stolen limo fares.
Order. All rise. It's case number 337 on the calendar in the matter of Tizolino versus Kirshner.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat.
Mr. Tizolino, how many limousines do you have?
I have 2 limousines.
Is that your business?
My main business is automotive repair.
And that was a driver for you for a period of time. I assume an independent contractor. Is that right?
That's correct. And a friend.
How long had she been an independent contractor driving your limousine?
Well, several years ago, I was going to say maybe over 5 years ago, she started working for me, and then she left for a period of time, and then she returned back.
When?
2015, she showed up asking me if she can drive again. And in 2016, she said that she was serious about driving, that her life's in order, and she wants to drive again to make some money.
Okay. So she started to drive for you again in 2016?
Yes.
Okay. You allege several things. That she damaged one of your cars, and then you say that she owes you for some work that you did on her private vehicle.
Yes. On the damaged car, it was in the weekend of May 13th and May 15th that she did the 2 jobs. Friday was the first run, and then Sunday was the secondary run. Somewhere in that time, or shortly after that, because I did not receive my limousine back after the service that she did. So the accident happened somewhere between Friday and the time that I saw it, that next Tuesday, which would be the 17th.
Okay. Don't you have insurance to cover that, sir?
I do, but this responsibility, I put it on her, telling her that I believe her attitude was the reason for that, or her negligence with the attitude. Based on what I was going to pick up, a very close friend of mine, daughter and party for a prom, he had contacted me and told me that...
You can't tell me what he contacted you and told you. That's hearsay.
Okay, well, he was concerned about...
Don't tell me what he was concerned with. That's just a different way of telling me what he said. Let me make this easy for you. This is your car, your limousine. I assume you have insurance to fix it, and you're in the automobile business. So if she was driving the car and she was within her scope of employment, which I assume it was, because you can't pinpoint when this damage occurred, then you have to fix it. I mean, if every driver of a car had an accident with the car, unless they were leasing the car from you for the day, and that's a whole different arrangement. But that was not your arrangement with her. She was actually working for you.
But, Your Honor, as a subcontractor, we go over rules that are understood.
Don't tell me what was understood. That calls for the operation of somebody's mind.
Oh.
It's your fleet of limousines. If there's damage to your fleet of limousines, you have insurance. I assume your insurance covers it. And if it didn't cover it, you have an auto repair shop. So I don't know what that's doing here. Now, you want to tell me about the work that you did for her on her private car.
May I interject on the limousine again?
Sure.
Because on the limousine, I'm an automotive repair shop. That means mechanical repairs, not a body shop. The body shop goes to another place. And she also had told me that she's responsible, she'll take care of it, she feels bad. As a matter of fact, I confessed to my witness here, on her own, it was her own doing, saying, I will take care of it, I just don't have the money right now. And I have text messages supporting this as well, saying, I'm responsible, just give me time, I don't have the money right now, let me work.
I'm telling you, she's not responsible. I mean, unless she was using the car for her own purposes.
That's what she did do after she worked. That's my problem.
Is that when she had the accident?
That's the unfortunate part. I don't know, because she didn't contact me back after she hung up the phone in her rage of...
When was the accident? Look at me. Date of the accident.
It was May 22nd.
5/22.
Yeah.
Where did it take place?
He said...
Where? Listen to me.
I am.
Don't think of where you're going. Just tell me the truth, and then we won't have a problem. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. It happened on May 21st. Where?
2016.
You're trying to make up a story.
Los Angeles.
Give me the date that the accident happened.
The 21st, May 21st, 2016.
Where?
Los Angeles.
No. Los Angeles?
Yes.
What were you doing?
Driving for Francis.
I'm not believing you. I want to tell you, I'm not believing you. Tell me the client that was in the car when you were driving for him that you had the accident in.
Actually.
Well, what was it?
Because when I got lost. I got lost trying to find this party at this restaurant in Los Angeles, because it's not really easy to try to turn a car around.
I don't believe a word that you're saying to me.
Okay, well...
I actually don't believe a word that you're saying to me. Just a look.
Well, anyway...
Just a look. So you couldn't find
had
the
to turn
party.
the car
Just a
around.
second. You couldn't find the party, but you finally found the party.
Yes, thank God.
But after you had an accident with the car. That's either a yes or a no.
Yes.
That's it's so
It's
easy.
actually no, because it wasn't an accident.
Well, you hit something.
I didn't hit anybody, no cars or anything. When I pulled into the driveway, there was a marker, and it's kind of hard to pull in the limousine when there's like only this much room to pull in your car. And in fact, I don't even think I even hit anything, and he's saying that I did. Because when I dropped the car off that night at the shop, there was no marks on the car. Then the next day when I went to go unload the car and clean it up for him, he asked me if I had made...
Ms. Kirshner, I was not actually inclined to view the plaintiff's claim favorably, but I find you so untrustworthy in your answers to me, because he's going to be able to tell me, and he has a witness who's going to tell me that you knew that there was damage to the car, that you apologized for the damage to the car, and if this was the 21st, on what date did you return the car to him?
The 21st, that the party was on the 21st. It was a Saturday.
Finally returned the limousine to him?
Saturday night.
And when did you pick it up again?
The next day, on a Sunday.
Is that right?
Your Honor, no, it's incorrect. She kept the car for the convenience of her own so that she wouldn't have to go back and forth because she was always looking for a ride. And she asked, can I keep the car? We've done that before in the past. And I said, yes, you can. Just make sure you fill it up, you're on time, and check in with me. We have a protocol that we have to follow.
Just a minute. So she kept the car on the 21st?
Well, no, that's the date is wrong also.
When had she originally taken the car?
On the 13th.
On the 13th?
On the 13th, May 13th.
Oh, okay. And she didn't return it until the 21st?
I'm saying she returned it 17th or 18th. It was a Tuesday or Wednesday following because I kept calling her saying, where's my car?
Did you keep his car on the 13th?
No, Your Honor.
14th? Just answer my question. Did
No.
you keep it 13th?
We're under oath.
No, I am under oath, and no.
13th?
No.
Okay. And this little fender thing that we were talking about, because you started to say you were pulling into this and then all of a sudden nothing happened.
No. Okay, go ahead.
See, who is this?
This is my witness that looked at the car.
She's not doing well. You understand
she's
that?
not.
Do you understand that? That
Yes,
she's not
yes,
doing
ma'am,
well?
I do.
Do you know what that says to me when somebody's not doing well?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
I would say that you should sit right where you are.
That's what I'm doing.
Right.
And I painted the scratches because it had to go out the following week.
Just a second.
Just with a spray can, just so it can go out on the next run.
That's a
I see
lie.
where it's dented. Did you have this repaired at an auto body place?
I did not have it repaired yet.
This was in May. We're now 8 months later. Did you report it to your insurance company? Not aha.
I did not report it to the insurance company, but I didn't get the repair done until later. At the time of the accident, I waited because I had to go out on another run, and I tried to settle with her.
I want to see the paid bill from the auto body place.
It's right there.
What else do you think she owes you for, sir?
She owes me for the
You paid
fare.
allegedly $2,000 in cash to have this fixed. If you put it through your insurance, you probably have a $1,000 deductible. So I'm charging her $1,000 because I don't believe that she had an accident any other time than when she was using this limousine within her scope of employment. Go ahead.
She owes me for money for the fares, the 2 fares that she
Forget
did.
fares. I'm not interested in fares.
No, the fares are my money that she was supposed to collect.
Forget it for the fares. This is May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. We're 8 months later. Forget fares. $1,000 for fixing the car. Let's move on to fixed for her.
I fixed her car a couple of times, Your Honor, but I think in...
Dates.
First one here, actually, was 2 dates. They were in May and June, and then I had another repair back in August for her car. She had bought her own...
Just of this year?
That's correct.
So what you're telling me is after this alleged incident with the car in May, with the damage to the car that she did not pay for, she continued to work for you, and you continued to do repair work on her car. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, Your Honor. We had an agreement that she was going to pay me out of her inheritance when she would settle because, unfortunately, her parents had passed. So she was waiting for money. She would always say, I don't have money, but I'm willing to work and pay half of what I earn towards the monies that I owe you. And going back to the limousine on the monies, the reason that it really bothers me is these were my monies that she had to collect and bring to me for those jobs.
Let me tell you something. I find your whole story disingenuous, sir. I mean, I know that you present relatively well and that you're relatively articulate, but the dates don't jive with me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What you had to do was say, I'm going to refinance the truck. You chose not to do that.
That's incorrect, ma'am.
Did she tell you to refinance the truck?
Listen, this is what happened.
No, don't tell me listen.
And later today,
In July, the car got burned and paid the defendant anything.
That is correct.
So you want him to pay you $5,000.
That is correct.
That's not going to happen.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Limo company owner Francis Tuzolino Jr. says former employee Michelle Kirshner damaged his limo and stole fares belonging to him.
Now, if somebody, an employee of mine, took my car without permission and kept it for 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th and brought it back, and when they brought it back, there was damage on the car, damage that you wanted her to pay for, and she didn't pay you for fares. Well, I wouldn't be doing mechanics work on her car again in June and August and letting her not pay for it.
Your Honor, there was a friendship that was precedent prior to this time and me helping her. My protocol for the business is I can't collect all the monies at the time that people book a limousine. They're entitled to pay at the time of the service. So it's the driver's responsibility to bring me my money after the job is done. When I contacted her on Sunday, after she hung up on me Sunday because she was in a fit of rage, got lost. This is in May.
In May. I'm talking to you about June and August fixing her car.
But I'm saying on that money that she was supposed to bring to me, off until that Tuesday or Wednesday.
I think that
I have the text messages to prove it.
I'm done. We're finished. Your case is dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm lost. I'm not understanding why I'm not entitled to monies that were earned by my company.
He owes me that money.
She admitted, and I didn't get a chance to show the text, saying that she gambled it.
That's what he's saying. Whatever floats his boat.
And she was going to pay me back, and she said I would have spent more if I had it.
See, he's so full of bull. Whatever. That's all I can say.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Dorsey versus Beverly. Step forward.
Len Dorsey is suing his ex-girlfriend, Amy Beverly, for unpaid car payments and the cost of vehicle upgrades. Amy is countersuing for a bed, 2 cell phones, and the invasion of privacy.
Mr. Dorsey, you and Miss Beverly lived together for a period of time. While you were living together, you needed a truck.
I just needed some transportation, period. I just chose a truck, though, yes.
That's fine. But I assume that the reason that you put the truck in Miss Beverly's name is because she had better credit than you did. Is that correct?
Not necessarily.
Well, Mr. Dorsey, let me explain something to you. This is going to be a very, very easy case.
Yes, ma'am.
You bought a truck. You put down the down payment and you made the payments. The truck was in the defendant's name.
Correct.
Which means it's her truck. It belongs to payment that you put down on the truck and the monthly payments that you put down on the truck. Well, you can't get that until you refinance the truck in your name.
I bought 2 cars already.
Do you understand? Well, then that's too bad. Then
if it was her truck, it's her truck, but...
Listen to me, sir.
Just spend my money.
Very easy. She's not paying you a dime. Because really? Because if she were to give you the truck, she would still be on the loan. The title would still be in her name. You could do whatever you wanted with that truck. If you got into an accident and didn't pay insurance, it would be her responsibility. So what you had to do was say, listen, I'm going to refinance the truck. It was my truck. We understood that. I made the payments on it. You chose not to do that.
That's incorrect, ma'am.
Did she tell you to refinance the truck?
Listen, this is what happened.
No, don't tell me listen.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today.
If you look at the pictures, you see where he was burning his rubbish, where my car was in location to his rubbish.
Did you tell her to get the car off your lot? That's what you say in your answer. Is that true?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Len Dorsey is suing his ex-girlfriend, Amy Beverly, for unpaid car payments and the cost of vehicle upgrades, and the invasion of privacy.
You don't tell me to listen. I'm asking you whether she asked
Judy,
you.
No, she didn't.
Did you ask him to refinance the truck?
I asked her. I told her I wanted to refinance the truck, and she wouldn't let me do it.
Is that right?
And I didn't even ask her to put the truck in her name.
What happened was he was supposed to sign a piece of paper stating that he would keep up the payments on the truck and he would be allowed to take the truck. But without him signing notarized paper, I wasn't going to let him leave with a $50,000 truck in my name, because you're right.
Just a second. I'm asking.
I don't even want to say it. Just whatever, though.
You have the truck?
I do.
Who's making payments on it?
Me.
Since when?
Since this month was my first payment.
When did you purchase the truck?
I purchased it in May 10th.
Is it new?
Yeah, it was brand new.
It's brand new. So it lost value as soon as you took it out of the shop.
Correct.
What kind of truck is it?
It is a Chevy Silverado.
And when did he leave?
He left November.
I was put out in November.
You left.
Whatever, I don't
You
care.
called the police.
You left.
You called somebody with a badge.
We're
in the
done.
hand
The
to
case is
separate.
dismissed. We're done. Thank you.
Is your excuse? You may step out.
About
Leave
your
the paperwork.
countersuit. Oh, excuse
Hello?
me, my countersuit?
The same. You were arguing with him. Not here. Go someplace else.
I have no idea why he's so angry with me. He has a bunch of false information. Because he made up some things in his own head. He thought I was cheating on him, and I wasn't. It was just an excuse to go back to his old girlfriend. How about that?
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Marshall versus Statham. Step forward.
Camille Marshall is suing her former friend, Sean Statham, for the cost of her car after catching fire on his property.
Miss Marshall, you had a car and you had a car accident. And that was in May.
May 3rd.
You had the car towed to the defendant's lot.
Correct.
Where you left it because you had no money to fix it.
Correct.
In July, so 2 months later, the car got burned in your lot.
Yes, ma'am.
At that time, you hadn't paid the defendant anything.
That is correct.
So you want him to pay you $5,000.
That is correct.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Okay, well, listen, I'm sorry. Initially, when the accident occurred, I explained to him I only had liability insurance. With only having liability, that means I would have to pay for the repairs. I no longer work. I'm disabled. I get a check once a month. So I told him it would take me some time to get the money together.
You're not getting...
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, I want you to cross it out. It's not happening.
Okay, I don't understand why it won't happen. It burnt on his property due to his...
You should have taken the car off in 2 months.
Okay, but we had an understanding that I had to get the money together to repair.
Show me a contract. First of all, I don't believe either one of you. Show me a contract that you had with him.
I did not have a contract for the repairs.
Correct.
But I don't understand why you don't believe me. I have pictures of the burned car. I have the police report. Where
A, because I don't know how it got burned. B, I don't think that it's reasonable for you to leave your car on somebody's lot for 2.5 months without paying him any money while you're getting your money together. I don't think that that's reasonable behavior, so you're not getting any money.
Okay, well, if you look at the pictures, at the evidence that I have, you see where he was burning his rubbish, where my car was in location to his rubbish container.
Did you tell her to get the car off to your lot? That's what you say in your answer. You told her that she should come and get her car. That's what you wrote in your answer. Is that true?
Are you serious?
We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
We figured out a way to just meet in the middle and
I took my car there to be repaired.
come together and put a plan together, you know.
It was burned.
At the end of the day, don't want no hard feelings with no one, so
I have no idea.
regardless of whatever we need to do to try to get understanding.
Get everything in writing.
But the thing about it, we family friends, so at the end of the day, we'll make it happen.
A chance to make a quick buck.
What was it that you wagered on?
A basketball game.
It was just the two of you who were betting.
That's it. No friendly bet.
But after a while,
He was giving me all these excuses about why he wasn't paying me and stuff like that.
it wasn't so friendly.
He said, I can't wait. We're going to handle it right now. So he started punch me.
You were arrested, Mr. Copeland. Is that correct?
That's correct, ma'am.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Richard Caldwell is suing his former co-worker, Danny Copeland, for an assault and missing property.
It's case number 368 on the calendar in the matter of Caldwell versus Copeland.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Copeland, I'm going to start with you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
About 2 years ago,
Yes.
you and Mr. Caldwell, who worked in the same place and who were co-workers, got into an altercation. The altercation happened on the 20th of May, a little more than 2 years ago. It sounds as if there had been a bet between the two of you.
Yes.
You wagered on something. What was it that you wagered on?
Bet over a basketball game.
Had you wagered on basketball games before with the plaintiff?
Yeah, it's been one other previous time. And both times, well, the first time he paid me, the second time he didn't pay me. And,
okay. So it was just the two of you who were betting?
That's it. A friendly bet.
First time he paid, second time, which was around May of 2014, he didn't pay you. How much did he owe you?
$100.
And when had this wager been made? In what month?
March.
Had you asked him for the money between March and May?
Yeah, we've been texting, coercing back and forth, you know, talking about it. He was giving me all these excuses about why he wasn't paying me and stuff like that. So what I did was, when I seen him in May, I asked him, and that's when the altercation started.
That took place after work?
Yeah, well, this is like, we had been off the job for like more than 2 years. It was just...
Okay, this happened in a parking lot?
Yes.
Of whose workplace?
Neither one of our workplaces.
So it was just a parking lot?
Where actually it's AutoZone, and then there's a food bazaar there, right? That's a supermarket, and they have food there, and there's a couple of guys over there that do a little side work. And that's what we was over there, you know, just hanging out with those guys. Because one of the guys over there actually worked with us as well.
But had you made an appointment to meet Mr. Caldwell? Or
No.
It was just...
No, he just showed up.
And at that time, you went over to him to ask him about his money?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to stop you from there. So now I have the basics of what it was about.
Copy.
So, Mr. Caldwell, you're in the parking lot. Mr. Copeland comes in, and...
It started like this, right? I drove up to the parking lot. I was walking to a friend of mine's car, right? I got out my car, right? And his car was about 10 feet away from me. So I walked over to his car. He called me first, right? I said, hold up, 1 minute, right? And then I went to the other car. Then I got in the car, right?
So you got in the other
car? Yeah, right? As I finished with the person I was in the car with, I got out, right? And I was walking back to my car. And that's when he called me. And I said, okay, what you want? He said, I need my money. You owe me this and that. I'm getting my car fixed. Worked on. I said, I ain't got it right now because I just got hurt on my job, right? So I don't have it right now. I'm on compensation. And compensation don't pay nothing. So you're not like priority right now. I got other bills. I do owe you $100. I know I do. But right now I just got hurt, so I'm on compensation. And compensation don't pay nothing, so I got other bills. And then when I get it, then I give it to you.
So you told him that you didn't have any money.
Yeah, I didn't have it, right?
Okay, and what did he do?
He said, well, I can't wait. So he said, we're gonna handle it right now. So he put his hands up to start fighting me, right? And I had my hands to block this punch right now. I started walking backwards. And then when I was walking backwards, right, I fell, because my leg gave out on me, because I was hurt, so my leg gave out on me. And so I fell on the ground. As soon as I fell on the ground, right, that's when he started punch me, and I could do nothing about it because I was hurt already.
While you were on the ground?
Yeah, while I was on the ground. And then when he was on punch me, right, he took my chain, ripped my chain off. I grabbed a piece of it, right? This is the piece right here. I had to make it into a bracelet now because the chain is gone, and I only got a piece of it.
Okay, so after he was punching you, did he at some point leave?
No. He kept hitting me. Then he got up, right, and he kicked me in my side, right? And then the reason why he left, right, somebody said, call the cops. Some girl says, call the cops. So that's why he left. And then I got up right away. I was bleeding from the face and everything because he had rings on, so he cut my face like this and everything. Then I got in my car, so when he left, I got in my car and I followed him. At the same time, I was calling the cops on him. And then when I called the cops, right, finally they caught up on him on Franklin Avenue.
So the police stopped his car?
No. He got out, he parked his car, and he got out, right? And then he was walking when he first stopped. And I said, he's over here, Franklin Avenue. Then the cops came, right around, and they pulled him and stopped him.
May I see the police report? Do you have the police report, sir? You were arrested, Mr. Copeland, is that correct?
That's correct, ma'am.
And you were charged with assault?
Yes.
That's what this case is about. Mr. Caldwell is suing you for the assault, and you have a cross-complaint, and your cross-complaint was for filing a false report with the police. And you are suing him on your cross-complaint for the same amount that he's suing you for $5,000.
Yes.
That's what the case is about. Okay. Did you receive the cross back? Police found the cross.
Yeah, they gave me the cross back.
Okay, Mr. Copeland, let's hear your version of the events.
Okay. Your Honor, I was in the parking lot, talking to a couple of friends. I was actually on the phone at the time he rolled in. I got off the phone. Like he said, he got into the car. He got out the car. I called him, and we talked. And I asked him, I said, when do you think you'll be able to pay me? Like he said, I was trying to get my car fixed. He said, I don't have the money right now. He started getting all loud, and he swung his arm at me. and I ducked, and I hit him 2 times in defense, right? He backs up, I hit him, right? And then he grabbed me, and then we started wrestling to the ground, and through some course of that, maybe his chain broke or whatever, I realized, you know what I'm saying, I didn't need to be there, so I got in my car.
What happened to the cross?
I don't know. I don't know what happened to his cross. I got in the car, I left, he was following me, right? And then I ended up going down by my daughter's mother's house. I parked the car there, walked around the corner. He's coming around the corner trying to, I don't know, do his police maneuvers around me. I stopped because the police pulled up. And when the police pulled up, they apprehended me, and then they put me in the car because he was cut under his eye or whatever. I never wear no rings. He talking about me wearing rings. I didn't wear no rings. And that was their version of the arrest.
Let's move on.
Okay.
You were arrested.
Mm-hmm.
You were assigned an attorney, or you retained an attorney?
No, I was assigned attorney, a public defender.
You were assigned. You were assigned a public defender.
Yes.
And the case proceeded through the court system.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the case is no longer pending.
No.
The case was resolved.
Right.
I want you to tell me how the case was resolved.
Okay, for 2 years.
Don't give me a whole song and dance. Did you plead no contest or guilty to a lesser charge?
Yes.
Then your counterclaim is done. Proof in a criminal case is proof by beyond a reasonable doubt. Burden of proof in a civil proceeding such as here is a much lower burden. When the judge took your plea, the judge asked you if you understood that you had the right to have a trial where the people would have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you committed the crime of, what did you plead guilty to?
Disorderly conduct.
Disorderly conduct. I'll take what the plaintiff has, please. And the disorderly conduct that you pled guilty to was relevant to this act of May 20th, 2014, not to another act, but to this act. Right. So your counterclaim is dismissed. And you received a mandatory surcharge of $95. Did you pay that?
Yes.
And a crime victim fee of $25. Did you pay that?
Yes.
And as a result of that, you were originally charged with assault with intent to cause physical injury, and it was reduced to creating a dangerous something and petty larceny. And I assume the petty larceny was the result of the chain. But the guilty plea was to 1 count of disorderly conduct in full satisfaction of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 charges. Right. Okay.
Your Honor, if I may.
You can't anything.
I was in the court system for 2 years,
Okay.
pleading my case, right? Going back and forth every month. I couldn't even take a job because jobs wanted to bond me. I couldn't even get bonded for jobs.
You
right?
shouldn't have bothered him in the parking lot.
You
shouldn't have bothered him in the parking lot.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I was just confronting him about the
You
situation.
confronted him in the parking lot about
So it was
a
good for
gambling
him
debt.
to swing on me and start the fight?
I don't believe that he swung on you at all, sir. Listen, it doesn't make any difference what I believe. You pled guilty.
And later today,
It did rain during certain...
4 out of 7 days.
But then you said you were admitted to the hospital.
Yes.
Wouldn't make any difference if it was raining or shining or sleeting or snowing. If you're in the hospital, you can't do the job.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Richard Caldwell says Danny Copeland assaulted him over a bet. Danny is countersuing, claiming Richard filed false charges with police.
Now, you shouldn't have bothered him in the parking lot.
I was just confronting him about the
You
situation.
confronted him in the parking lot about
So it
a
was
gambling
good for him
debt.
to swing on me and start the fight?
I don't believe that he swung on you at all, sir. I believe that you were frustrated with his text messages. Doesn't make any difference what I believe,
can show you the same text messages I have, too.
Listen to me. It doesn't make any difference what I believe. You pled guilty. That was the result of the criminal case.
After 2 years, Your Honor, I need a job. I have to go to work.
Great.
Who's going to pay my bills?
Counterclaim is dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,500. We're done here. Thank you.
Parties are excused when they step out.
He didn't hit me, but he swung on me, and I fell in defense. I would have to swing back.
If my leg was good, I would take care of him then.
I mean, I didn't do anything. I asked him for my money. That was it.
When he played guilty, right, he got like a slap on the wrist.
Because he started.
I can't even walk.
I hit him 2 times. That was it.
No more bets.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Miller versus Martinez. Step forward.
Wesley Miller is suing contractor Jose Martinez for the return of money he paid him to install a pizza oven.
Mr. Miller, you contracted with the defendant to build a pizza oven, an outdoor pizza oven, and do some other work at your house. You gave him a deposit, but very specifically in your contract, something which Mr. Martinez actually acknowledges, one of the conditions of the job is that it be done within a week. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
And what was that week that it was supposed to be done?
The week of the last week in August, starting on the 29th.
September 6th.
No, ma'am, September 2nd.
September 2nd.
Yes, the Thursday of that week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Well, that's not a week.
Okay, sorry.
That's not a week. And that's what you said in your complaint. You said, I expressed the urgency to him about completing the project within a week.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the job was not done within that time.
Correct.
And you want your money back.
Yes, ma'am. I had to hire somebody else to do it and complete it.
Now, Mr. Martinez, I read your answer. Your answer says that it did rain during certain...
4 out of the 7 days.
But then you said you were admitted to the hospital.
Yes.
Just a second. On what date were you admitted to the hospital?
On the 31st, Your Honor.
So what difference does it make if it rained?
Well,
if you were
4 out of those 7 days.
Just a second.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
From the 29th to the 4th or 5th of September, you were admitted to the hospital on August 31st, so it wouldn't make any difference if it was raining or shining or sleeting or snowing. If you're in the hospital, you can't do the job.
Correct. I was on that 1 day.
So this emergency that you have that put you in the hospital for 1 day...
Hypoglycemia.
You came back to work the next day?
It rained 4 out of the...
Did you come back to work the next day?
No, Your Honor.
Did you come back to work the day after that?
No, Your Honor.
Did you come back to work the day after that?
No, Your Honor.
Did you come back to work the day after that?
I called him.
Did you come back to work?
No, Your Honor.
You have to give him his money back.
Your Honor, he lied in court and...
He lied in court when?
Yes, Your Honor. And he kept his
Which
money.
court?
Your Honor, he kept his money, and he ended up a week later calling me and that he was going to take me to court, but he lied to you, and he kept his money. There's a stop payment on the check.
Just a minute. So...
He kept his money.
Just a second. So is what you're telling me, Mr. Martinez, that he gave you money by check, but then put a stop payment on the check?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you actually received no money from him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you receive... No.
I did not receive...
Did you receive any money from him?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
Okay. That's very easy. May I see that, please?
And where the actual...
On the 29th of August, sir, you gave him a check for $1,000, check number 1612.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you put a stop payment on that check?
I did on Thursday, and Chase informed me it was too late. It had already been cashed at a local express, and I could not get my money back.
So your account was, in fact...
Debited.
Debited for this amount.
Yes,
well,
ma'am.
somebody's got the money, Mr. Martinez.
PLS.
Somebody's got the money, Mr. Martinez.
In a moment.
I have from PLS that I owe them $1,000. This is where I cashed another check where I did work, and they took my money.
On what date?
On the 16th of November.
16th of November?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Wesley Miller says contractor Jose Martinez never installed the pizza oven he was paid for.
Your Honor, I don't have that money, Your Honor. PLS, right here, this is PLS form. I went to cash another check, and they told me that I owe them $1,000.
Don't tell me.
I do not have his money.
Well,
Chase Bank has his money, and that stop payment there, right there, shows it. And these people, PLS, this is something else from PLS, says that they never received the money from Chase Bank. So PLS never received his money from Chase Bank.
I would suggest that you take that up with the bank.
I've checked with the bank before I left, and it's not stop payment. It's not there.
PLS says...
Listen to me. Mr. Martinez is not lying to me about the fact that he may have tried to cash this check, but they wouldn't give him the money. Sit down.
He cashed a check on Monday, and because I waited till Thursday to stop payment, Chase said the money is already gone through, and they could not reverse the payment. I have where I've tried to do the stop payment. I don't have any confirmation that $1,000 is back in there.
Well, this was in August.
That's correct.
Do you have your bank statement from August? Or you can get it very easily.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to take a look at it. Sure. Because if your bank statement shows that this money was, in fact, paid out, then you got the money.
I have from PLS that I owe them $1,000. PLS never got the money from Chase, and here's something from PLS. This is where I cashed another check where I did work, and they took my money.
On what date?
On the 19th, excuse me, on the 16th of November, sorry.
16th of November?
This is where I did a payment, where I worked, I got paid, and I went to cash the check from PLS. And
Mr.
PLS
Martinez,
took
you have
my
to
money.
return his money to him.
Ma'am, I do not have his money. PLS says
You
they
have that
never got his
statement?
money.
I'm trying to get to Chase's down right
Could
now.
you do
Chase
that?
never gave the
Could
money
you do
to
that?
PLS.
Yes, ma'am, I can try.
Your Honor.
Great.
Chase never gave the money to
Mr.
PLS.
Martinez, I didn't ask you anything.
Yes, Your Honor.
You want to recall us?
Yeah, I
All
do.
right. This case will be recalled. Step out.
Just get me the statement showing $1,000 out of your account.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Order.
Check 1612. It's highlighted.
Towards the bottom, check 1612 for $1,000.
Well, you cashed the check right before you were feeling sick. Did you give him any other money, sir?
I charged some materials. He ended up charging some additional tools to that. I've since taken back what I could. The mortar was no good because it had been out in the rain. He also dumped everything out of his truck onto my property. I had to have called people to haul it off.
What is that?
That's the trash that was inside of his truck.
When did he do that?
The Monday he brought the mortar out there and left it on the patio uncovered, and he emptied his truck off over the corner of my property.
Okay. You have a counterclaim. For what?
PLS I owe money to. I don't owe money to Chase Bank. He may show you just one thing on his phone, but he didn't show you maybe that money's already gone right back to his account. Like I said, I have this from PLS saying that I owe him the $1,000, not Chase Bank the $1,000, ma'am, Your Honor. As for all that junk he's talking about, I cleaned him farce I walked into, and the reason all that stuff is there, because this is what it looks when I left, Your Honor. And then you can...
I'd like to take a look at those photographs, please.
So I worked there in the rain.
Just a second.
Your Honor.
On what days?
On Monday. And he changed
Just a second. So what you're telling me is you worked there one day in the rain.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what we're here for? One day?
No, we're here for a completed product in 7 days. It couldn't be completed because of the rain in 4 out of those 7 days.
You owe him $1,000. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I think she made the correct decision.
I'm disappointed, but that's fine.
I have a text from him saying that he was actually arrested, not in hospital. He was actually arrested.
I don't want to talk about it.
Make sure you get the documentation. I think the documentation helped me here.
I don't understand about what's going on with the bank, but I never received that money from Chase.
This says cheap ski and zip lines.
Well, they falsely advertised.
Did these rental cabin owners string her along?
When you got there were no zip lines.
They had closed their doors.
Well, they don't own the zip lines, right?
Right.
But her lack of adventure left them hanging.
I don't understand. Yeah, well, then you have spoiled children.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Stuart and Barbara Strother are suing Claudia Areola for a cabin rental fee.
Order. All rise. This is case number 367 on the calendar, matter of Strother versus Areola.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. and Mrs. Strother, you own a cabin.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that cabin is located where?
It's in Wrightwood, California.
How long have you owned it?
We've owned that cabin for 4 years.
Do you have any other real estate in that area?
We do. 6 years ago, we bought a cabin that was just our family's little ski cabin, and we rented it out when we weren't using it. And since then, we've invested, and now we have 5 cabins in Wrightwood.
Just curiosity. How much does one pay for a cabin?
On the low end, when we bought this specific cabin, it was $95,000.
The one that the defendant rented?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you bought that 4 years ago?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you've always rented it?
That's right.
And you rented the Struthers cabin for what dates?
It was for August.
What dates?
15th.
Is that right? Is it August 15th?
No, Your
August
Honor.
15th? What date?
August 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th.
I have it here.
Is that 4 nights?
Yes, Your Honor.
4 nights?
4 nights.
And who were you going with?
My 2 older daughters and my 15-year-old twins.
How much was the cabin?
Well, the total was $1,200, but that was with the deposit, so.
Without the deposit?
I think it was $1,042.
Is that correct?
No, Your Honor. The cabin was $860, and the security deposit was $200.
And did the defendant send that to you? $860 and the $200 security deposit?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you and your 4 children went to the cabin and arrived there on the 6th of August?
Yes.
So now you have fully paid the $860 for the 4 nights, plus the security deposit.
I paid more than that. I have, it was $1,014 plus $200 for a security deposit, which I have here.
I'd like to see that. Oh, well, the 4 nights were $860. That's what it says
And then
here,
the deposits.
$860. Cleaning was $85. You also brought a pet.
Yes.
Is that right? So there was a pet fee of $30. Trip cancellation protection you purchased. Damage protection you purchased. And $160.
Yes, my total cost.
And you went there with your 4 children and a pet.
Yes.
And you stayed there on the 6th.
We stayed there on the 6th.
Did you stay there on the 7th?
We did.
Did you stay there on the 8th?
No, we left on the 8th early.
You left on the 8th?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you didn't stay either the 8th or the 9th?
No.
And then you, sometime thereafter, complained to whatever banking institution it was that was handling these transactions, and you were issued a refund.
Yes.
Which they took out of your bank.
Yes, Your Honor.
Which is why we're here today.
That's right.
Because you believe that you are entitled to, you say $842.60. That's what you're suing for. How much was taken out of your bank? Is that what was taken out of your bank?
That exact amount plus some small fees.
$842.60. Okay, now you're going to tell me why you don't owe him that money.
Well, they falsely advertised. So when we rented the cabin, they advertised it as zip lining.
May I see it, please?
Yes. So my family and I...
Just a second. So sometimes in the wintertime there's skiing.
Yes,
is that
ma'am.
right?
Skiing's very good.
And you were going in what month? August. So you weren't going skiing?
No.
Well, this says cheap. I read your answer. And your answer says that when you got there were no zip lines.
They had closed their doors.
Well, they don't own the zip lines, right?
But they
just pay attention. They don't own the zip lines.
Right.
There was no skiing either, right?
No, which we knew that.
You could have found out that there were no zip lines, too. All you had to do was make a phone call.
Well, the zip line was there when we rented it. If it closed its doors, so we rented it in June, or paid it in June, July 14th, which I have a picture, they closed their doors. And if we had been... Brightwood's a small town. If they had notified us, I think it's their responsibility as a cabin to notify us.
It certainly is not their responsibility to notify you. It's your responsibility. If you like hiking, if you like fishing, if you like zip lining, it's your responsibility. They rented you the cabin at the time that they rented you the cabin based on this. If I assume that this is advertising, this was perfectly accurate. At the time you rented it, it was perfectly accurate.
Yes. I also sent Barbara an email letting her know that my whole family was coming out, my daughter from New York, my other daughter from Northern California, specifically for zip lining, and that's why we were renting the cabin.
You know, the world is all about your responsibility. Your children were coming out. You get on the phone and say, by the way, not to them, to the zip line. If you have any doubt whatsoever that it's in operation, then you get on the phone and you say, is it in operation? But you can't just stop payment on leave. You rented the cabin. Somebody may just want to go there for hiking and not zip lining. I certainly wouldn't want to go any place for zip lining. I might want to go for the outdoors and walk around trails if it's pretty there. But I don't understand why it was paid for, why you left.
Because there was nothing to do. Wrightwood's a very small
children
town.
who came to visit you from thousands of miles away, and you have this lovely cabin, and you couldn't find something to do with your children for 2 other days, like go out and prepare great dinners and sit around and talk to each other. I assume you don't see each other regularly.
We don't. The older ones, no.
And you're telling me that there was nothing that you could do with your family that you don't see regularly if there was no zip lining in what looks to me like a beautiful environment?
Well, we weren't enjoying the environment, and my children didn't want to stay.
Yeah, well, then you have spoiled children. But it's not their responsibility to keep you abreast of the comings and goings of business. You rented the cabin, you rented it for 4 days, you have a responsibility to pay for it, and you have your responsibility, because there's no false advertising here. You paid for something, you saw this, you liked it, you knew there was zip lining. It closed subsequently. I mean, I'm going to give you an example that is way out. What if it closed the day before you got there because there was a death? You think you would be entitled to your money back?
No, but...
What if it closed 2 days before you got there because somebody who was zip lining got disconnected and broke their neck, and they closed it down until they figured out whether it was safe? You think you'd be entitled to your money back?
No.
Okay, so you're picking an arbitrary time. You're saying, well, it closed in mid-July. From mid-July till the beginning of August, those 2 weeks. So you thought 2 weeks was too much. Well, $842, judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Well, as usual, Judge Judy showed a lot of wisdom in deciding this case.
I do think it's, as a property owner, it is your responsibility.
If you're coming up to hunt, I'm not responsible to make sure you have a hunting license.
You know that someone is coming out to the middle of nowhere to do something specific.
And you know the hunting season, that's up to you to know that.
I think that it is a responsibility to at least let me know in time to...
We're sorry for the family that they weren't able to do what they wanted to do.
Either cancel our reservations so that we could have done something else with our time off.
It was just unfortunate circumstances.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Martinez versus Perez.
Martinez is suing 20-year-old Jasmine Perez for the return of money she paid for a Saturn.
Ms. Martinez, you bought a used car from the defendant and you want your money back. That's what the case is about.
Yes, ma'am.
How did you find the car?
I saw a post on a page on Facebook that we were both members of.
When did you purchase the car?
October 29th.
How much did you pay for it?
$3,000.
Did you write up a contract?
No, I do have the bill of sale, though.
Who wrote up the bill of sale?
At the bank they did for us, but we both signed it.
I'd like to see it. That's a contract. So the car's 10 years old?
Yes.
Great. So you went and took a look at it and you bought it the next day?
Yes.
And you took it home on the 29th?
Yes. Yeah, but I got
and then
the
what
keys.
did you do with the car?
I took the car home. My neighbor came with me to look at the car. We took it home, and then I had called to find out about getting it registered in California and what next steps we would take to do that. And then we waited a little while, and then we ended up...
What do you mean you waited a little while? What's a little while?
We waited about, I would say, 2 weeks to take it in, to get it checked over.
Okay,
because...
so the car was in your possession for 2 weeks?
Yes, before we went and
Just
got
a
it checked
second.
again. Yes.
And then you took...
The same mechanic, I have the receipt that she had taken the car to, just to get it checked over to see if everything was okay. And that's when we found out that the car had never been smog tested in the state of California, which I knew from research it was illegal to sell a car. And I thought that those records just went immediately to the DMV. I knew that there wasn't like a certificate of anything for that being done, so I thought that it had been smog tested.
Whatever you thought, you had the car in your possession for 2 weeks.
And I was under that impression. And then when
Your impression is really not important, Ms. Martinez.
Right.
You bought a used car.
Right.
When you buy a used car, generally you buy it unless there is a guarantee. If you buy it off of a used car lot, sometimes there's a 30-day guarantee or a 90-day warranty. But usually when you buy a 10-year-old car from a private person, you buy it as is.
Right.
Now, what you do is when you buy a car, if you want to take it to a mechanic to have it checked, you take it and you say to the prospective seller, I'd like to have this car checked by my mechanic before you buy it. You knew enough to take the car to a mechanic 2 weeks later. What were you doing in that 2 weeks?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
That's what your mechanic told you.
Well, the mechanic told us the part was discontinued, which I have the receipt that they actually had told her that, so we can't get the car fixed technically. It will never be.
Talking about.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Victoria Martinez says Jasmine Perez sold her a car with issues.
Now, what you do is when you buy a car, if you want to take it to a mechanic to have it checked, you take it and you say to the prospective seller, I'd like to have this car checked by my mechanic before you buy it. You knew enough to take the car to a mechanic 2 weeks later. What were you doing in that 2 weeks?
Well, we were waiting to get it registered until my husband got paid again because we spent the money on the car. So we waited, but we had already talked to the mechanic about bringing it in and talked to him about
Whether you talk
everything.
to the mechanic or not, you have to understand what the realities are. The realities are you had the car under your care and custody for a period of 2 weeks.
Right.
As she says in her response, I don't know what she did with the car in those 2 weeks. I don't know if she drove it. I don't know if her husband drove it. I don't know if anybody else drove the car in that 2 week period. When you gave it to her, did you take your plates off the car?
No, I did not.
So there were plates on the car, so you could have driven the car. Your husband could have driven the car. She could have driven the car. Who knows what happens to the car in that 2 week period of time? It wasn't the next day that you took it.
No.
No, I know, because she said it. 2 weeks later, I got a call from her and said that the car couldn't be smogged. There was a part that was missing, but she said...
Well, we had taken it into the mechanic. We found out that it had not...
2 weeks later.
Right, that it had not been smog tested and that part was actually discontinued and wouldn't
The car
be able
had
to
Guam
help
license
anymore.
plates on it.
Right. But before you sell a car in California, I have the paperwork right here from the DMV that you do have to get a car smog checked, and it's illegal to sell a car that isn't smog tested in California.
Where's the car now?
It's at home. It's just been parked. We haven't drove it since.
Why not?
It's not registered, so...
Well, you should get it registered.
Well, we can't because it's not smog tested.
Get it smog tested.
Well, we can't get it smog tested because technically it's still in her name, and she was the one who had to get it smog tested. Like, the way that they explained it to us is I had to make sure that it was smog tested before I could register it, but technically, when she sold it to me without it being smog tested, it was an illegal transaction.
Ms. Martinez, the defendant will do whatever is necessary to cooperate with you in writing her name anywhere, I assume, to get the car serviced in whatever jurisdiction you choose. It's your car. Right. You have to do whatever is necessary to get the car registered out of her name.
Right.
Right.
Right. I just knew that we couldn't take it in. I wanted to make sure that it was
should have done that
before. Legal.
I'm telling you, you should have done that before you bought it.
Right.
But now you have it, and you know what you have to do in order to get it done, right? And get the Guam license plates off the car?
Yes, I just knew...
Your mechanic needs to get a part.
Well, the mechanic told us the part was discontinued, which I have the receipt that they actually had told her that. She left me the receipt in the car from the repairs that she had done earlier on, and it said right on there that the part was discontinued, so we can't get the car fixed technically. It will never be permanently fixed.
I don't know that. You want to tell me what she's talking about?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
There is no requirement that she has to tell you everything wrong with the car. But I would be smart enough. I would say, I want to take it to the mechanic before I give you $3,000. What was your rush?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Victoria Martinez says Jasmine Perez sold her a car with issues.
Do you know what you have to do in order to put this car on the road and get the Guam license plates off the car?
Yes, I just knew...
Your mechanic needs to get a part.
Well, the mechanic told us the part was discontinued, which I have the receipt that they actually had told her that. She left me the receipt in the car from the repairs that she had done earlier on, and it said right on there that the part was discontinued, so we can't get the car fixed technically. It will never be permanently fixed.
When I brought the car back from Guam, I knew it had to be registered because I planned on keeping it, and so I was going to get the check engine light fixed because they couldn't fix it over in Guam. And when I got to the place, to the mechanic that she also went to, they told me it was miswiring, and that's what it was. It's also on the receipt that she has.
What was miswiring?
I'm not entirely sure. Just something in the car somewhere was miswired, which was why the check engine light was on. And that's what is on the receipt. That's what they told me. The check engine light was off, and then I think like 3 hours later it came back on. I called the guy at the mechanic store. He said that we probably just didn't clear it out all the way, so to take it back. I never got around to doing that. I was driving my husband's car, and I just never did it. And then I sold the car to her. I told her beforehand the check engine light was on, and it was still registered in Guam, that she would have to fix those things. Well, I also said I would go get it checked for her that week, but she came over, I think it was like on a Saturday or something, so I couldn't go. I said I would do it that week. I have proof of those messages.
Can I see the
messages?
Yes, you may. Did she offer to go to get the check message light fixed with you?
She told me that all I had to do was take it in and get it checked, and then it would be
Did she offer to go with you the following week?
No, she didn't offer to go with me. She had mentioned that if she said that there was something wrong, that she could get it checked.
The only thing wrong with it is the check engine light is on.
Right.
I was told it was because it was miswired. I can get it checked again for you to be sure.
But on the
Just a second.
Okay.
So she told you go next week.
But she didn't advise me. I have the receipt from the mechanic that was in the car when she sold it to me, and she did not advise me that it says right on here that they told her that the evap value line was messed up and that that's a non-replaceable part.
So?
She just never informed me of that, and that's
there is no requirement when you are selling a car to a private person, Miss Martinez, that she has to tell you everything wrong with the car.
Right.
But I would be smart enough if the check engine light was on in the car, and she told me that before I bought it.
Right.
I would say I want to take it to the mechanic before I give you $3,000. What was your rush?
Because me and my husband both have jobs working full-time at different places, and when we moved out here and we only had the one vehicle, and I was actually just beginning to start my new job, so I needed a vehicle to get to work also.
Just a second. So the rush was on your part.
Right. I just had asked her.
The rush was on your part.
Right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
But 2 weeks then, based upon what you just told me,
we didn't drive
Miss Martinez, you just told me that the reason that despite the fact that she told you that the check engine light is on the car and I can get it checked next week for you, you insisted on buying the car that day. And you just told me that you had to buy it that day because you and your husband came here, you both had jobs, you only had one car.
Right.
Now you have 2 cars because you bought her car, which means either you or your husband drove this car for 2 weeks before you took it to the mechanic.
No, I was saying I had just got offered that new job. I hadn't started my job yet. I had just got offered it.
Then you should have taken the car to the mechanic before you bought it. You don't have a case.
It was just, I know that it's illegal to sell a car in California.
You don't have a case.
And she had told me it was smog checked.
You don't have a case.
Okay.
We're done. Thank you.
Excuse me, they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I mean, I knew it was a legal car and that it had been registered and everything, so I knew that there was nothing to worry about with that.
I told her I'd check it. She didn't want it, so she can check it herself.
It was just the California laws that were different.
I never once told her it was smogged because it was from Guam, so they don't require you to get smogged in Guam.
I was told that it was legally done and that it was smog checked, so.
So I don't know where she got that from.
It was nearly lights out until their daughter stepped in.
You opened it up in your name because it had been closed in their name?
Both of them had debt in their name.
But with utility bills still not paid up.
I found out that it was about $1,800. I shut it down.
How did they stay powered up?
Did your mother open up the account again?
Yes, she did.
She closed the account. It was reopened. How?
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. 22-year-old Amber Evans is suing her parents, Jacqueline Whitmore and Alan Evans, for unpaid utility bills and for ruining her credit.
Order. All rise. It's case number 389 on the calendar, matter Evans versus Whitmore Evans.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Miss Evans, these are your parents.
Yep.
And it is your claim that without your authorization, because their utilities some time ago were being cut off, they opened a utility account using your name and your Social Security number. You believed that they took care of it, that your mother took care of the bill. You subsequently found out when you went and tried to purchase something using your own credit that that was not the case, that the bills had never been paid. So you want not only the bills paid, but you want to be compensated for your ruined credit. How old are you now?
I am 22.
And how many years ago was this account opened?
2014.
And at that time you were 20. What were you doing?
I don't know.
Were you working?
Yes.
Were you going to school?
I was on disability.
Were you on your own disability or through your father's?
My own.
Are you still receiving disability?
Yes.
How long had you been on disability?
Since I was 18.
Did you graduate from high school?
Yes, I did.
Were you living in your parents' house?
Not
when
when
you were
this
20?
occurred, no.
Not when they opened the utilities in your name?
I opened it up, and then I shut it down.
You opened it up when you were 20?
Yeah, and I told them...
When you were living in their house?
Yep, and I found out that it was about $1,800, and I said, no more. I shut it down.
So they didn't pay the bill. You opened it up in your name because it had been closed in their name?
Both of them had debt in their name.
But they opened it in your name and then didn't pay the bill?
Yep.
And that's when you shut it down?
Yep.
Did your mother open up the account again?
Yes, 2015.
Did you close it down again?
When I found out, yes.
When did you find out that she had opened it?
My dad had written a letter when he was in prison telling me that it was still on.
Did you write her that letter?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Tell me why you wrote her the letter.
Because me and my wife wasn't getting along at the time, and I didn't want her bill to get any higher, so I thought...
So you knew that your wife had opened it without her authorization?
No, she had her authorization.
The second time?
It was never opened the second time. It was never closed. It was never shut down.
Your Honor, yes, it was.
It was never shut down.
Do you have proof that it was closed once?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
This is... that.
No, that's not what she said.
Which one? Then that's all I have.
Your Honor, we went to the police station and filed, but we couldn't get a copy of that report.
Oh,
okay. Tell me who you are.
I'm the mother of her boyfriend. She lives with me.
At the time that you wrote her that letter...
Yes, I was in jail.
I know, that's coming up later.
Okay.
At the time that you wrote her that letter, was your daughter living in her mother's house?
No.
And you were using her utilities accounts. Notice your husband says that your daughter was
not. In the very beginning, my daughter moved into my home. And
I'm not talking about the beginning. I'm talking about when your husband wrote to his
I did
daughter.
not put it in her name. She voluntarily did it herself. She went and got energy assistance to prove that she's the one.
Subsequently, she closed the account.
Right.
She closed the account. It was reopened. How?
I was talking to her, and she felt bad for me, and she says, Mom, I don't want you to not have electricity. I'll let you do it a little bit longer until you get your situation straightened out.
Okay, very good. You owe her $1,235. Now, we're going to get to the other part of this counterclaim that we have. So far, $1,230. I'm speaking. Your last name is?
Evans.
Mr. Evans, how long were you incarcerated?
18 months.
Your counterclaim says that during the time you were incarcerated, you were also receiving disability.
Yes.
How long have you been receiving disability?
Since 2007.
What were you incarcerated for?
Violation of probation.
What was the crime?
Violation of a protective order.
Which protective order?
Me and her.
6 months, which means that the state, which incarcerated you, was paying for your room, board, medical, etc.
The state wasn't. It was Social Security.
No, listen to me. Social Security was not paying to clothe you, to house you, to feed you while you were in jail.
But she was collecting my checks.
Are you following me?
No, I'm following you. No, they weren't paying for me to be...
They were paying for you. When you go to jail, unless you were in a jail where you paid, did you pay for your own jail?
No.
Did you pay for your own jail?
No.
Then Bird paid to keep you in jail.
Yeah.
To keep a cell over your head, to keep food 3 times a day, to take care of your medical care, to take care of your clothes. The state paid for you.
Yes.
So why didn't you notify Social Security Disability that your check should stop?
She was my payee.
Listen to me. That's not my question to you.
Well,
my question is, Social Security Disability is designed to take care of you because you can't work.
Yeah.
Did you work when you were in prison?
No.
What did you do? Did you have a prison job?
I couldn't get a prison job.
Why?
Because there was a long list of people.
Did you try?
Yes, I was on that list.
You were on the list. What did you want to do?
I wanted to do sleeping and stuff like that.
Well, why can't you do that when you're out?
Huh?
Why can't you do that when you're out?
Because...
If you could do it in prison, why can't you do it when you're out to make money? instead of collecting disability.
Yes, I understand what
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know you understand what I'm saying. If you think that I'm going to give you back Social Security disability checks, even if she was your payee, while you were in prison that I was paying for, you got another thing coming. I just wish Social Security is going to have a new administrator. Pay careful attention. When somebody is incarcerated, their disability payment should stop. When somebody is incarcerated, welfare payments should stop. When somebody is incarcerated, foster care payments should stop. We don't have to pay twice or 3 times. Once is bad enough. We understand each other, Congress.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I had received a small inheritance, and she asked me if she could borrow $500.
For what?
She didn't give an explanation.
No, I would have said to her as her mother, what do you need $500 for?
And later today,
Did you help him move his things in?
I did not.
Who helped you move your things in?
A co-worker. Like, yeah.
Do you
Is this the
understand?
truth?
Your lawsuit's going nowhere.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Amber Evans says her parents, Jacqueline Whitmore and Alan Evans, owe for utility bills and ruined credit. The defendants are countersuing for an unpaid loan and stolen money.
No, so you're not getting any money back. I don't care where your money went for Social Security. It's bad enough that you got it. I'm certainly not rewarding you by giving it back to you while you were in jail. Next is your claim, madam. Pay careful attention. It is your claim that you loaned your daughter $500.
Correct.
Tell me, when you loaned her $500 and the circumstances surrounding you giving her $500.
July 16th.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding giving it.
I had received a small inheritance. I don't know.
Don't show me anything.
From my uncle, and she found out I had it.
How did she find out?
Because I was buying things, and she just knew by me buying things.
What were you buying?
I bought a TV. I was putting money into my car to fix my car.
So you must have told her that you got an inheritance.
Yes, after a while.
You told her? Okay.
And she asked me if she didn't give an explanation.
No, I would have said to her as her mother, what do you need $500 for?
Well, I didn't.
What did you need $500 for?
That, honestly, is a lie, Your Honor.
What's a lie?
The amount that she's telling you.
What was the amount?
It was probably like $20, and that wasn't. She gave it to me.
You mean she gave you $20?
Yeah, that was.
How much do you collect from Social Security disability?
$733 a month.
How much do you collect from Social Security?
$795.
And what do you do?
I am also disabled.
And what do you collect from disability?
Mine is like $761.
Judging for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,235. Counterclaims are dismissed. We're done here.
Excuse me, step out.
She made her decision, and that's that.
I thought it was good.
My daughter has played me.
I don't owe my parents anything. Never once did.
I just think it's a very rotten thing to do.
There's no more family.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Benson versus Jones. Step forward.
Jason Benson is suing his former friend and landlord, Gerald Jones, for destruction of property and stolen money.
Mr. Jones, how many rental units do you own?
2.
And where are they?
Los Angeles.
When did you purchase them? And how long do you know Mr. Benson?
I would say 7 years.
So you were friends?
Yes.
Mr. Benson, this is what your lawsuit is about. You were in trouble. You had no place to live. You were going to become homeless. Mr. Jones had one of his units that he was about to begin refurbishing. He said to you, you know what? I don't want you to be homeless. You can come and stay in one of my units for a short period of time, transitionally. You have to be ready to, get out quickly because I'm going to be refurbishing that unit so that it can be a rental unit and I can get value for it. He also says he told you don't move in a whole bunch of stuff because my guys are going to have to work all around it. And he charged you a nominal rent. What was the nominal rent he charged you?
$250 just to store my stuff there.
$250?
Just to store my stuff there, yes.
Well, you were staying there.
Well, somewhat. I was working a lot at the time. I was working like 16 hours, so I would get minimum sleep. I wouldn't even sleep there half the time.
You can go into a storage unit, sir, for
True
less than
enough.
$250 a month if you wanted to store your stuff. You were staying in the apartment. That's what you say.
Correct.
And when did you start staying in the apartment?
In May of 2016.
And then there came a time when Mr. Jones had a conversation with you about the work that was going to be commencing in the apartment. When was that? When was that, Mr. Jones?
July 1st? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
July 1st, the 30th of June, July 1st.
Okay. And you want to tell me what that conversation was? Do you remember the conversation?
He was basically telling me that I needed to move my things around so that they could come in and start painting the walls, maybe doing some renovations and stuff. So I basically let him know that because I was single-handedly doing it, that I was going to need his help in order for me to move things around. He agreed. He said, okay, I'll come over there. Because I didn't make a phone call, he basically, you know, went against what was going on, hired some guys.
I have no idea what you're just talking about.
You can't hear me? I'm sorry.
He told you to get your stuff out.
Correct.
Because his guys were going to be coming in and working.
Right.
And that was the arrangement from the beginning.
Right. And that's why I spoke to him and asked him if he would be able to help me because I didn't have anybody to help me. And he said yes. So during that time, I was expecting him to show up and help me out. He didn't. So
how old are you?
I'm 33.
And you're working 16 hours a day?
Correct.
Doing what?
Construction.
You worked for a firm?
At the time, I was, yes.
How long did you work for them?
For about like 6 or 7 months.
Well, if you work for the same construction firm for 16 hours a day, you ask one of your buddies after work and you come, please help me, I'll give you $100 and move some furniture for me.
A lot of them didn't speak English, so I couldn't communicate with them. No, I'm just serious.
All right, Mr. Benson.
Judge Judy.
Property damage and money taken without permission. What money did he take? This man who gave you a place to live, who you squatted in his apartment for 3 months without paying, what money do you think he stole from you?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jason Benson says his former friend and landlord, Gerald Jones, caused his belongings to be destroyed and stole his money. Gerald is countersuing for rent.
So what did you do, Mr. Jones?
What I did is I talked to him around July 1st. That was middle of the week. 4th of July was that weekend. And I said, hey, I need you to move your things out so I can have because they're going to start construction next week. Jason told me that he needed help because it was just him. In my mind, I said, you know, I don't mind helping you out because my incentive is to get the place ready to go so it can be leased. But in my mind, I was thinking, well, you know what? You should have not moved all your things in.
Did you help him move his things in?
I did not.
Who helped you move your things in?
A co-worker of mine. She was actually, it was a female who actually moved my things in with me. Like, yeah. She couldn't really take on any, like, you know, well, I help any longer, so. It's not a sob story, it's just the truth.
Your lawsuit's going nowhere. You understand that?
I understand.
You understand, and you understand why?
Well, I mean,
you understand why?
Not so much like the agreement.
Just a second. Just a second. He's not responsible for you. You're responsible for you. Now, after he moved some of your stuff outside, and he did put it outside, you put it, you said, under a garage, under a tarp?
Under a carport in the backyard.
Okay. That didn't discourage you. You still stayed there until November, according to you. You stayed there. That was July, August, September, October. And what date in November did you move out?
Around the 12th, the 15th.
Where did you sleep, sir?
On the floor.
Did he ask you to leave?
Did he ask me to leave? No, we came to an agreement that I would leave on a certain date.
Well, tell me about reaching that agreement.
He came over to the house.
What month?
In November.
November. Now, when you moved back in and slept on the floor, did you pay rent?
Yes.
October?
Yes.
Did he pay rent in October?
No. Not he.
Did you pay rent in September?
Yes.
Did he pay rent in September?
I paid rent from May all the way until, what was it, September, correct?
No, don't ask him. I'm asking you. You say he put your stuff out.
Right.
You slept on the floor, and you're telling me that you still paid him rent.
I paid for that. I had given him a deposit. I had paid for that month. I moved in on the 26th of that month, and he still charged me for the deposit, the rent, and then 4 days later ended up asking me for the first of the month for the next month. So that came out to $1,000. So I basically kind of just went with the flow at that point. And we were friends at the time, so I mean, hey.
This is a generic.
I got the same paperwork
that was written up, but the The bottom line is that the $250 was supposed to be deposited into my Bank of America checking account on the 1st, and I only received 2 deposits, which would have been May and June. I know, it was just something that we just wrote up because I know, but.
Well, I have 3 receipts right here. I paid him cash originally, but I have 3 receipts right here that proves that it was deposited into his account, so I don't know how he only ended up with 2 of them.
I just want to know whether you
Those are
paid
bank statements right
September,
there.
October, and November. September, October, and November.
No, I didn't. For September, no, but for May, June, July, and August, yes, I did.
I'm not talking about May, June, July. I'm talking about September, October, and November. Did you pay rent?
No, I did not.
I don't care what you were going through.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This is what you can't sue him for. You can't sue him for loss of rent because once it's remodeled, you can get so much more for the apartment. The apartment was remodeled, according to you, in September.
The apartment is currently being remodeled.
Okay.
And it hasn't been done yet.
Done yet, fine. So he owes you for the 3 months that he didn't pay you, September, October, and November. On your counterclaim, that's $750, not $5,000. Now, money owed for property damage and money taken without permission. What money did he take? This man who gave you a place to live, who you squatted in his apartment for 3 months without paying, what money do you think he stole from you?
I can't say he personally stole it, but he hired a couple of guys to come in and remove all of my property out during that time. They were going through personal property. I had a shoebox full of money that had $3,100 in there first off, and I have pictures to prove that my property was thrown outside with a sprinkler system on them 2 times a day. At 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock at night.
You have no case. You're a complainer.
Excuse me?
You have no case. Judgment already done.
Parties are excused when they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I got pictures to prove that everything that was damaged was damaged.
Nothing happened.
I have money that's stolen, missing.
Property wasn't missing.
It is what it is.
It's a learning lesson on my end.
Move on.
Not to least to any family or any friends, to keep the relationship pure.
He purchased your building?
In the process.
The judge offers some free advice.
I'm a lawyer. You're not a lawyer, right?
Correct, Your Honor.
You need a lawyer.
After getting a bad vibe from this buyer.
There's a smugness about you that I'm finding irritating, sir.
I believe it.
If you know that you're smug, then a normal person tries to change it and not bring it in front of 10 million people looking like a schlemiel.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Donald Watson is suing his former tenants, Ray and Becky Smith, for unpaid rent, stolen property, and damages.
Order. All rise. Case number 360 on the calendar in the matter of Watson versus Smith.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat.
Mr. Watson, you rented the defendants an apartment that you own that was above a pizzeria. It had 4 bedrooms. When did you move in, Mrs. Smith?
We moved in on May 1st, 2015.
And when did you move out?
We were out October 1st, 2016.
And there came a time that during your tenancy, your husband lost his job and you fell behind in your rent.
Yes, ma'am.
How much rent, when you moved out, had not been paid to Mr. Watson? Do you know the exact figure?
I'm not sure of the exact figure.
Approximately.
It was going to be roughly like $4,000.
Well, even he doesn't say it was $4,000. You say it was $2,000.
5.
No, it's not what you say, actually. You said that they still owed back rent in the amount of $2,200, and they moved out. You confused a little, Mr. Watson. You're suing for $5,000, but you say that part of that was property that they took, back rent, damage to the apartment. But according to your complaint, they owed you $2,200 in back rent. That's what it says here. I'll show you what you signed.
There was $2,200 that they owed during the months that they
acknowledge that they owe you that much. Okay, so
well,
what is your defense
for the money that you owe your landlord for back rent. He was forgiving.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So when Brandon asked us to leave on August 9th, I have text messages from him that he sent to my husband, Ben, that stated he had covered all of our back rent.
Who had covered all your back rent?
Brandon. Because
Brandon?
he was buying the building.
That would be you?
Yes, Your Honor.
How are you related to him?
I'm not.
Did you give him money for their back rent?
I gave him...
Stand up. There's a smugness about you that I'm finding irritating, sir.
I believe it.
Well, then that means that you're an idiot. If you know that you're smug, and if you know that there's something unlikable about your demeanor, then a normal person tries to change it and not bring it in front of 10 million people looking like a schlemiel. Now, my question to you was a very simple one. Did you give Mr. Watson money to cover their back rent?
$800, yes.
$800. Did this gentleman who purchased your building, he purchased your building?
In the process.
He's in the process of doing it now?
Correct.
He says that he gave you $800. Do you have a lawyer in that purchase?
No.
You're doing it yourself?
Okay.
Listen to me. How old are you? You can tell me.
79.
So you're a little older than I am. But I'm a lawyer. You're not a lawyer, right?
Correct, Your Honor.
Get a lawyer. You need a lawyer when you deal with him.
I'll do that.
I want you to trust me. Okay?
Gotcha.
Sit. You, sit. So far, you owe him $2,200 in back rent. Now, he's buying the building from you, correct?
Yes.
Good. So we don't have to worry about any damage. What is he going to do with the building that he's buying from you? What's he going to do with it? Do you know?
He's going to live in it.
Himself?
Correct.
With whom?
His daughter.
He was your maintenance man?
Correct.
Do you own more than one building?
No.
Just this building?
Just the one building.
How much is he paying you for the building?
$265,000.
Are you taking back any paper from him, or is he giving you all cash? I'm not talking about him getting a mortgage. I'm asking you whether he asked you, you know, I'll pay you out, not a bank. Is he giving you cash, or is there...
Well, he was going to get a loan.
From a bank?
From a bank, right.
Has he gotten that yet?
Not yet.
And how long has he been looking for this bank loan?
I can't answer that.
How many months?
I'd say maybe 2 months.
And you understood that you had tenants there when you started to give you a deposit, sir?
No.
He didn't? Did you sign a contract with him?
No, not yet.
You need a lawyer.
Need a lawyer.
Who do you live with, Mr. Watson?
I'm widowed.
So you live alone?
Correct.
What kind of work did you do?
I was in sales, different companies, different products, and I coached volleyball.
Do you live in your own apartment now?
I have my own house.
So aside from your home, this is your only other building, your commercial, this commercial
Correct.
building. Okay. Was there an active pizzeria in the bottom of it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is it still there?
The actual pizza place was destroyed by water damage, where the water pipes in the upstairs froze and kind of destroyed the downstairs. But the main reason to close the pizza was because my son, who was actually running the pizza, collapsed of a heart attack.
I see. So the pizza parlor went out of business.
Right. I closed the day that I got the news that he had collapsed. He was on a scout outing with the Boy Scouts, and on the way to breakfast, he collapsed and died. And I closed the pizza and never did reopen it.
What year was that, sir?
He died 2011.
So the downstairs place has been vacant since then?
Correct.
And was it this gentleman's plan to refurbish that? Had he discussed that with you?
Cleaning service that came in and aerated and cleaned the carpets downstairs and upstairs, the apartment upstairs, and I paid about $22,000 to have all that work done. What they did, they cleaned the upstairs, put it back into working order where I could rent it. The downstairs is still...
Okay. Who lived upstairs above the pizza parlor? Did your son live upstairs?
No, the Smiths.
I know, but before the Smiths moved in...
Just my son.
So your son did live upstairs?
Correct.
There was nobody living there between the time your son passed away and the time they moved in 2015?
Yes, Your Honor.
There were or were not?
There was one other tenant before us.
Okay.
And they actually had the pizza restaurant opened at one point.
For a short time?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Very good. All right. So far you owe him $2,200 a month rent. Mr. Watson, I'm not interested in the furniture that was there when they first moved in. You haven't lived there in a long time. Is that right?
Correct.
Great. I don't care about that. Now, you're talking about damage. You're talking about damage that was caused by their ferrets.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of damage do you allege was caused by the ferrets?
Urine in the carpet and ferret in the kitchen and also in the attic.
Did they give you a security deposit when they moved in?
No, ma'am. When I rented the property to them, we sat down and went over what they agreed, put it into my checking account at the local bank, which they did when they paid.
Okay. Do you have photographs of the damage, sir? Photographs
no,
of the damage.
May I?
Who are you?
I'm his son. Thank you.
Do you have photographs of the damage,
Yes,
is my
he
question.
has
May I see them?
He has photos of the damage.
Oh yeah.
I also have pictures of my ferrets if you'd like to see
I don't
them.
care to see pictures. I know what ferrets look like.
And Brandon here is the one that took the pictures?
Listen, I don't care about him. Okay. Now, they've got a counterclaim for harassment. Unfortunately, you sued the wrong person because you're not claiming he harassed you. This gentleman didn't harass
yes, he did too. I have a police report.
I'd like to see that.
Sure.
What's this a picture of?
That's a footprint, just to show.
I could return these to the plaintiff. Why didn't you answer the door when he came?
Because I was home by myself,
and
my husband was out of town.
Just listen, that's my question to you. Why didn't you answer the door? He was a man who was very good to you. He let you skate on the rent when your husband was. You were home and you refused to answer the door. So my question is, why wouldn't you answer the door to this man who was nothing but nice to you?
Because as we got towards the end, by the time he came, we had already talked with Mr. Heddle. He had asked us to leave.
I'm not talking about Brandon.
Right.
The
I
smoke
understand.
one. I'm talking about this gentleman who had been nothing but nice to you.
Because he didn't come just knocking on the door, Your Honor. He came banging on the windows.
No, he didn't. Not the first time he came. First
No,
time
that was
he came,
all the same
no,
time.
No. He came and he knocked at the door. You were home. You didn't answer the door.
This was all the same time when I called.
I understand exactly what you're saying to me. No, I don't believe that. You had absolutely no reason. My problem, Mr. Watson, actually is this. You both told the police, and she said that they owed almost $4,000 in back rent. In here, it says $2,200.
The $2,200, Your Honor, they paid the $800 for the first 3 months. Then he was disabled, was on workman's comp, and he said that as soon as they got his workman's comp, he was going to pay me for the rent. They didn't pay anything for 2 months.
And what was their rent? A month?
$800.
$800.
Well, they didn't. They paid the $800 the first 3 months.
Okay, but then after that, they did not?
Between that time and the time that they paid me $800 again was the period of 22 of. They owed me 70. Where's my sheet here?
You have rent receipts?
I do.
I'd like to see all your rent receipts. That's easy. You moved in May 2015. You were there until October of 2016. So you were there for a year and several months.
Between August 1915 and...
it looks as if you were there for 16 months. Is that correct?
Right. And
just a second. You were there for... Am I correct?
Yes.
How long were they there?
17 months.
From May
I have
of 15
a sheet
through
here with the
October 1st.
To October 1st?
October 1st. We were out on that day because that was the move-in day for our new...
Let's say 16 months.
Okay.
Not going to argue. 16 months.
Yeah.
Should have paid $12,800.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
Show me pictures of how you...
I don't have any pictures, but
well, that's too
Mr.
bad.
Zapata came by and collected the keys before I was out.
No. I read your answer. You said he collected the keys, so you left the door open. So your suggestion is that somebody moved into the house and made this mess for 2 days? What, are you kidding me?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Donald Watson says, former tenant stolen property and damages. The defendants are countersuing for harassment.
Now, I want you to take all of these. It's easy. 1, 2.
With all the receipts and stuff, it was like 42 was the total that we were behind.
42?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, that'd be right, 42.
And when my husband got employed again in March, I spoke with Mr. Watson every single day, or every single month, I'm sorry, and told him, if we were behind or not, and what we were planning on doing, so he knew ahead of all of time.
I don't care what he knew. Don't tell me what he knows. You owe him $4,200. Judgment for the plaintiff. We are done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'd been out of town. They hadn't paid the rent, the last month's rent.
Legitimately, I was not ready to get into whatever they were going to get into.
I wanted to find out if she had made a deposit that I didn't know of.
And between him and Brandon, I'm not sure.
I assumed she was home because the car was there.
What was going on, so I just ultimately felt that it was better.
Knocked on the door and maybe knocked on the sliding door.
I was home by myself, and I don't like to be home by myself, so I just locked myself in my room.
I never got a response, so I left.
Get a lawyer, cover your butt.
Oh yeah, I have a lawyer. Drew up all the paperwork.
I'm years.
Yes, Your Honor.
3.5.
3.5 to be exact, yes.
And in the last part of the tenancy, it was a month-to-month tenancy?
Yes.
It is your claim that when she moved out, either she or other people who lived with her trashed the house?
That is correct,
causing
yes.
a substantial amount of damage. You want her to be responsible?
Yes.
She said whatever damage there was normal wear and tear on the house?
Correct.
Okay. Did you give Mr. Zepeda notice that you were moving out?
Yes.
You did. When did you tell him?
It was a verbal verbal
notice. When did you tell him you were moving?
When he came to collect September's rent, I told him that I was going to be moved out by October 1st.
Okay. Were you out on October 1st?
I was not out on October 1st.
Did you pay October's rent?
No, I did not.
What was your rent?
$1,200 a month.
On what date did you move?
The 7th.
So you owe him October's rent?
For the first week.
No, you owe him October's rent. If you're supposed to be out, if you're a month-to-month tenant, you have to be out the first of the month. Otherwise, you owe the month's rent, not a week.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Is this what you consider normal wear and tear?
Sure.
It is?
Sure.
Don't leave a place like a pig. Pigs don't live in houses.
This is Real People. Judge Judy. Marco Zepeda says his former tenant, Sonia Kimball, trashed his rental property.
Now, when you moved out, did Mr. Zepeda do a walkthrough with you?
No.
Did you ever tell him you would not be out on October 1st?
No.
Mr. Zepeda, do you have photographs of what you found when you went to the house? And when did you, in fact, go to the house?
Exactly, Your Honor. I got all the pictures, from before and after.
On what date did you go to the house?
I went by the 9th.
On the 9th?
Yes.
Why did you wait until the 9th to go?
I texted, this lady saying, that I need my money on the 3rd. And she goes, I'm moving out on Friday. Okay, I'm being, Friday. I said, okay, but I need my money. So a friend of mine passed by and he goes like, hey, Marco, somebody's moving out of the house. And I said,
but you didn't go for 2 days?
No, Your Honor.
All right, now I'd like to see what you found when you went to the house.
Oh, I got some pictures right here, yes.
Good.
Just from before and after.
Would you show this picture, please, to Miss Kimball? This one as well, Bird.
What is that?
Your mask.
No, we did not leave. I did not leave the house like that, Your Honor. No, I did not.
Well, let me ask you this question. These are living items. These aren't trash that somebody brought in. This is stuff that somebody didn't want.
But I did not leave the house like that.
Well, show me pictures of how you left
I don't have any pictures, but
well, that's too
Mr.
bad.
Zepeda came by and collected the keys before I was
No.
out.
This is not somebody... I read your answer. You said he collected the keys, so you left the door open. So your suggestion is that somebody moved into the house and made this mess for 2 days? What, are you kidding me?
I didn't say that.
Good. I'm glad you didn't try to tell me that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Did she have any security deposit with you?
Yes, Your Honor, $1,100.
Did you keep it?
Yes, I did.
So that's her... We can eliminate that from the last month's rent.
Yes, Your Honor.
That she owed you. Is this what you consider normal wear and tear? Would you show that to Miss Kimball, please?
Sure.
It is?
Sure.
That's what you consider normal wear and tear. Is that right?
But, Your Honor,
I'm not even showing you the pictures of the broken doors and the holes in the walls.
But, Your Honor,
and this trash.
Here's the thing, though. My brother-in-law was going to fix the things that was damaged, and he talked to Mr. Zabeta about it.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. Don't leave a place like a pig. Pigs don't live in houses.
Thank you,
That's
Your
all.
Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Well, I love it. No, I'm glad it's all over now that I got some of the money back.
I didn't agree with it.
Because I spent almost $17,000 in my house.
Because he wasn't telling the truth.
To put it back together again.
Because if he would have let my brother-in-law fix the repairs, then we wouldn't be here. He wanted money, and that's all he wanted.
And he goes like, hey, my name is Anthony, and, I can fix your house.
Because if somebody come in and say that they're going to repair what needs to be repaired.
I said, who are you? Well, I'm the cousin of Kimball.
For no cost to you, you should take up the offer, not try to sue somebody for something they don't have.
I said, I don't know you. I got my guys who can fix the house.
The heater wasn't working.
Well, basically because they destroyed the electrical system. They bypassed, the heater system.
So we had to use extension cords.
Put a nail or something like that, a screwdriver, and they missed out, the air conditioning.
And stuff like that. He didn't do right by us living there almost 4 years.
Okay? So, yeah, basically that's why I went back and fixed it. They did it again.
Because he want money. He's all about money.
I mean, she was lying all the time.
Because he came in periodically, he never said nothing about anything. It wasn't that we were just living there and we never seen him.
And the way she made, she broke my house and destroyed the whole thing in my house is not right.
So when you come in and you never mention nothing, then all of a sudden you want to sue me, and I don't have nothing.
I'm glad they're gone, and thank you, Judge Judy.
I caught her in bed with another guy.
Well, that's sort of interesting.
He says it wasn't the first time for his two-timing ex.
Every time she got caught doing something, she would pretty much buy my love.
Then did she turn the tables on him?
Saying that I use women, I have unprotected sex with everybody that I come across with.
I'm not going to ask you about this unprotected sex. It would be TMI for me.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge suing her ex-boyfriend, John Barnes, for an unpaid loan to buy a motorcycle and pay for legal fees.
Order. All rise. This is case number 379 on the calendar in the matter of Morin versus Barnes.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Ms. Morin, it is your claim that while you were dating Mr. Barnes, you made two loans to him. One was to purchase a motorcycle, and the other was for some legal fees that he incurred when the motorcycle was impounded for some reason, which he will explain to me. While Mr. Barnes acknowledges, I believe, that you gave him money for the motorcycle, he says it was just that, a gift, as well as the legal fees. So I'm going to start with you, Mr. Barnes. How old are you, sir?
I'm 33.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a physical therapist.
You work independently or through a company?
I work for a hospital.
How long have you worked in that?
I've been in the physical therapy industry for about 3 years.
Were you ever living with the plaintiff?
For about a month, yes.
When? What month?
The end of July, July 31st, I want to say to about August 15th or 16th.
Well, that's 2 weeks.
Well, it seemed about a month. It was probably about 3 weeks. I would say I moved out the 21st. It was a Saturday.
And what day did you purchase the motorcycle?
Beginning of August. It was early August.
August 19th was the day that we purchased the motorcycle.
Okay. Well, then you didn't leave on the... Tell me why.
I caught her in bed with another guy.
Well, that's sort of interesting. Then why was the gift, do you believe?
Because pretty much every time she got caught doing something, she figured she would pretty much buy my love. The reason she bought the motorcycle is because I was taking care of my mom. She was just getting over cancer, and I'd quit my job. And I didn't have a job. I was doing personal training at the time. And she was like, come over to my house. She lives in Rockland. I live in Oak Grove. It's about a 40-mile commute. And I was like, I just sold my car for my mom's medical bills. I don't have a car. She was like, she had got tired of me lifting back and forth to her house. So she was like, I know...
Try at age 33 to eliminate the word like from your vocabulary.
I apologize. So she would get tired of me lifting to her house. So she said, I'll just...
Well, all right. Explain this to me. On the 15th of August, according to you, you found that she had cheated on your relationship. That's what you say. I'm not taking that for the truth of the statement, but that's what he said. And you left the house. Tell me how the motorcycle came about.
She wanted me to come over And I said I didn't have a ride.
So you mean within a few days?
No, actually that same night. And I was like, I'm not coming over, I'm not going to talk to you. And then she got off work at 7 in the morning and she came over to my house. And I was like, leave, I don't want to talk to you.
So she came to where you were living?
Yes.
Is that with your mother?
Yes.
She drove?
Yes.
So that would have been on the 16th, 17th.
I believe along the lines was...
Don't believe. I'm still trying to figure out how the motorcycle got purchased on the 19th.
Well, it was like a 4-day process because she couldn't pull out all the money at one time because she has an online bank.
Just a second.
But we already had agreed to talk.
No. Come back to me.
I'm fine.
We're on the 15th.
Yes, ma'am.
You left.
Yes.
Are you telling me that you had been in discussions with her previously about the motorcycle?
Before I even had moved out.
Before you? Oh,
yes.
Okay. So now we have to go back.
Yes.
So before you felt she betrayed you, you had a discussion about the motorcycle.
Yes,
when did those discussions start?
Right after we came back from Vegas, August 1st.
Tell me about the discussion.
She said, let's buy you a car. And I said, no, I don't want to buy a car right now. Insurance is too much. I can't afford it. And I said, it would just be cheaper if we got a bike because it's $20 to fill up the gas tank and I won't get caught in traffic. And then I can get to your house faster so you won't complain about me being in traffic because there's major traffic for like 15 miles to our house.
You're very charitable. Keep going.
And I was like, well, there's no way I can afford a bike right now because, you know, my finances. I was like, maybe we could just get an old bike. I said, maybe we can get an old bike for right now, just in the meantime, because I start my job in a month, just so I can come back and forth, so I can be with you all the time like you want me to be. And she was like, okay, that's fine. And I said, I'll go on Craigslist and look up some cheapest. And we were sitting at the computer one day. She walked in the house and said, hey, this one's cheap. It's close to the house. Let's call the guy. We called the guy, and, you know, it was a 3-day process of us getting the bike, and I moved out on the 15th, and then she started withdrawing money after that for the bike.
You mean after you moved out?
Yes, because it was like her way of getting me to come back home.
Who went and picked up the bike?
Both of us.
Well, evidently you worked.
No, I was not working at this time. I didn't start
not you worked. It worked. If
We
you
tried.
both went and picked up the bike, evidently paying you off with the bike worked.
It worked for the meantime, yes.
So you were able to get over your bruised ego in 4 days with the bike.
Pretty
I'm
much.
just trying to figure it all out.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, when you purchased the bike, did you put the bike in your name?
No.
In whose name?
It never got registered.
When were you pulled over on the bike?
2 days later.
So the original owner of the bike's name is still on the title?
Yes, ma'am.
What were you pulled over for?
My license plate on the motorcycle was on the frame, and it's supposed to be under the taillight. So my license plate was in proper view.
Did you have a driver's license?
No, I had
then
made
that's
plans.
why the bike was impounded.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it wasn't impounded because the license plate was on in the same place.
No, I was pulled over because of the license plate, and when he
Yeah,
pulled me
but
over,
then they pulled you over and you had no driver's license.
I didn't have a Class A motorcycle's license.
And you weren't supposed to drive a motorcycle.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's a personal trainer?
No, I had just gotten my job as a physical therapist.
And you had gotten the job back because you now had transportation?
I applied. My mom's cancer just had rendered remission, and everything was fine, and I was able to work. And then I applied at the hospital, and I got hired.
And you drove to the hospital on the...
Motorcycle, yes.
Now, you had some issues. Did you hire a lawyer?
I did.
For what?
Just legal fees and to appear in court for me because I was working at the time and I couldn't get the day off.
And when were you supposed to appear in court?
It was like 3 weeks later.
Okay, so 3 weeks later, after the bike is in impound, where are you living?
Back in my mother's house.
Not staying with her at all?
No.
Never?
I'd go back and forth.
I'd
go back and forth.
You know that
to
there
her
are
house.
pieces of the story that are going to make sense and pieces that are not going to make sense.
I'd go back and forth to her house.
So that you were back and forth with her. So when
Yes.
you said the relationship was over on the 15th or the 19th, that's a lie.
Our relationship was over, but we continued to still talk, and I'd go hang out with her, and we'd see each other.
Right. And sufficiently so that when you needed legal fees, you took some more money.
No, it wasn't even about that.
What was it about?
I tried to help her. She was involved in a lot of stuff, and I'd be like, I gave her ultimatums. I was like, if you want me to come back in your life, you have to stop drinking at 8 o'clock in the morning when you wake up. I was like, you have to stop lying. You have to stop doing this. I have text messages of me saying, hey, these are the things that I need you to do before I come back in. I just didn't want to, leave her and just 86 out of her life. I didn't want to be like that. Regardless of how she tried to buy my love back, I didn't want to be that guy and just leave.
I'm just asking you about $300 for legal fees. I'm not asking you to defame her.
I wasn't
I'm
defaming
asking
her.
you about the $300 in legal fees.
Well, you had asked me about why I was going back and forth.
No, I'm asking you about...
The $350 in legal fees, I hadn't gotten my first paycheck, and she was like, I'll take care of legal fees. And I said, okay, I'll take care of the lawyer. She paid the beginning part of,
She paid the beginning part of the lawyer.
And how much was the lawyer altogether?
The lawyer altogether, I believe, was...
And the name of the lawyer?
$1,800. I couldn't recall. It was Wilkinson.
And he charged you $1,800?
Yes, ma'am.
Where'd you get the other money from?
I used my own personal money because I didn't have the money at the time to retain him. And she just paid the retainer, and then I had to see him, and I had to pay him after that.
And he appeared for you how many times?
Just one time.
And when she gave you the $300, what did you say to her?
I told her I needed it for the lawyer, and I said thank you. We went to go pick up the money. We rode to the lawyer's office. I ran upstairs. I gave it to him, and I came back downstairs.
Okay. So the motorcycle was $2,400?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's an impound?
I have no idea where it is.
You don't have it, Bob?
No, ma'am.
So it must still be an impound if it's
no
not
idea.
registered in your name.
She held it hostage. I have no idea where it's
She
at or what's
can't hold it
going on.
hostage if you have a motorcycle.
She never
you
gave me...
Just a second. So you retained the pink slip?
Yes.
Then you don't get the money for it. Then you should have registered it and gotten it out of impound.
Yes, it was...
Good. So fine. If you did not give him the pink slip, then he cannot, because he's not the title holder, get it out of impound. You have to do that. And if right now, which is months later, either they've auctioned it off because you didn't do anything, you woke up a little too late.
The license. You need a license to get it out. I didn't know at the time when I bought it that he didn't have a license.
Just a second. You get a license.
Do you have to actually ride a motorcycle to do it?
I have no idea. It's nothing that you even looked into.
She knows the process. We
just
sat
a
at the
second.
computer and looked at it together.
She doesn't get the money for the motorcycle because she owns the motorcycle. She has the pink slip. She does get the $300, though, for your legal fees. That was your fault.
That's fine.
Now, let's talk about your defamation. I'm listening because you have a count.
Okay, so one day I get a Facebook message from a girl I have no idea about who she is or what she does. And she sends me this random Facebook message about a fake profile on POF and her getting a message from some girl saying, beware of this guy. I have no idea who this girl is. I don't even know what POF is. It's a...
Oh, I don't either.
Online dating site or something like that.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
So, what else?
And then I have a message from I do purchases anymore because of the things they were seeing online. Here's another online article about me saying that I use women, I have unprotected sex with everybody that I come across with or something. And if you'd like to see a text message from my client.
You're proving yourself.
Well, this is sort of your version of Yelp.
I have no idea. I don't know what any of those things are.
Okay. Well,
I even have text messages from my clients counseling services for their training because they were told from other friends because she went around gossiping. So, I mean, she knew that I just had started working at the job that I was at, and she would go around. She even called my job trying to get me fired. So, I mean...
Listen to me, sir. She's angry.
She's an addicted because I let her. If you look at the dates, those are October and November, 2 months after I left her, and she's still, like, acting like a little kid, making fake profiles. Like, who does that?
Who does that?
What do you mean who doesn't? A normal person doesn't. I would never do that to her.
You asked me a question. I'm going to answer that question.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I wanted to warn other women. I really did want to warn other women.
Well, you don't have to be on a mission. Understand?
Yes, everything that he said is a lie, and I have proof everything that he said.
Just a second.
And later today...
When are you getting your refund back?
Well, honestly, Your Honor,
No, don't honestly. Did you get a refund back on your taxes?
No, I did not.
That is a lie, Your Honor.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Julianne Morin says ex-boyfriend John Barnes owes for loans. John is countersuing for defamation of character.
Listen to me, sir. She's angry.
She's an addicted because I let her. If you look at the dates, those are October and November, 2 months after I left her, and she's still, like, acting like a little kid, making fake profiles. Like, who does that?
Who does that?
What do you mean who doesn't? A normal person doesn't. I would never do that to her.
Somebody who doesn't have anything better to do does that. Somebody who has no life does that.
I wanted to warn other women because I really did want to warn other women.
You don't have to be on a mission.
Well,
You don't have to be on a mission because there will come a time when somebody will say to you, you've crossed the line. Do you understand?
Yes, everything that he said is a lie, and I have proof everything that he said.
Just a second.
Yeah.
You're not entitled to the money for the bike because the bike is yours. You have the pink slip for the bike, and you were the only one who could get the bike out. He cannot get the bike out. And I don't know why you waited 6 months to come to this juncture, but he did not have the power to get the bike out. You did then, but right now, you control the bike. So you can't get money for the bike. You can, however, get money for what I perceive as a loan for your legal fees, because you didn't have those.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not so quite sure that her posting online to beware of you because you use and abuse women, because you actually almost conceded that yourself. You said, well, I caught her cheating on me on the 15th, so I moved out. But then she said she would buy me a motorcycle 4 days later. So I moved back in. But then I didn't really move back in. I went to my mother's. I just went over to see her occasionally. So that sounds to me like a guy who does use women. Now, I'm not going to ask you about this unprotected sex. It would be TMI for me. Okay? Only you know that.
Roger.
So your counterclaim for defamation is dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $300, and we are
Wait,
finished.
ma'am.
We are finished.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'd catch her cheating, and that's the way she'd buy me back. She'd be like, okay, well,
I have found since that he has done that too.
let's go shopping today. And then after shopping, she'd just kidnap me, and I'd go back to her house.
4 people, and she's going to continue to do it.
She knows she was in the wrong for trying to slander my name, and
They're women.
she was just being vindictive. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just glad it's over.
There's bad guys out there. Don't believe everything they say.
There's no plan with her. She's 86. She's something I used to know.
Don't give a guy money, ever.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of McCraney versus Dykes, step forward.
Destiny McCraney is suing her ex-boyfriend, Gary Dykes, for an unpaid loan to fix his car.
Mr. Dykes, how long were you and the plaintiff dating?
4 or 5 months before we moved in together.
And how long were you living together?
8, 9 months.
In what month did you move in together? Do you remember?
It was back in January.
Of this year?
Yes.
And in what month did you give him $1,800 to buy a car?
The beginning of May.
And in what month did you move out?
Somewhere around June.
So the next month?
Yeah.
And you used the $1,800 that she gave you in May to buy a
car.
Why didn't you use your own money?
To be honest, Your Honor, I didn't have the money at the time.
If you didn't have the money, tell me what you said to the plaintiff.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The only thing I'm guilty of is taking advantage of a friend. How did you take advantage of your friend?
Not to nobody, ma'am.
Well, that's what you wrote.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Destiny McCraney is suing her ex-boyfriend, Gary Dykes, for an unpaid loan to fix his car.
Now, you used the $1,800 that she gave you in May to buy a
car.
Why didn't you use your own money?
To be honest, Your Honor, I didn't have the money at the time.
So if you didn't have the money, tell me what you said to the plaintiff.
Basically,
Not basically. I want you to tell me, it's not so long ago, what you said to her and what she said to you.
Well, I told her that I needed some money to pay down on a car, and she was concerned about me going to work and helping her pay the bills and things of that nature. So,
helping you pay your own bills.
Well, we was having an apartment together.
Right. So you were paying your own bills. You weren't paying her bills. You were
Right.
paying your own bills.
Right. That's why I say helping pay the bills.
So you needed a down payment on a car, and?
And she said, well, I have a little money saved up, and she said, I can give you $1,800.
I never heard those two words put together. I can loan, I can give you $1,800.
Well, Your Honor, she did give me the $1,800.
Well, the question is, the first thing you said was $1,800. That's the first thing you said to me. How are you supposed to pay it back?
There wasn't no arrangement to pay it back.
Is that right?
No, ma'am. Absolutely not. He was supposed to pay me back out of his tax return.
Out of his tax return that he was getting the following year?
No, this year.
Well, you gave him the money in May. He had already gotten his tax refund back.
No, ma'am, he has not.
He didn't?
No, ma'am. He's just getting his tax refund back.
When? When are you getting your refund back?
Well, honestly, Your Honor, she...
No, don't honestly. Did you get a refund back on your taxes for last year?
No, I did not, ma'am.
Are you expecting it?
No.
Did you tell her you were expecting it?
No, I did not.
That is a lie, Your Honor. Yes, he did. That's the only reason why I loaned it to him. I don't have no money just to give nobody.
Your answer here is the only thing I'm guilty of is taking advantage of a friend, which I'm apologetic for. How did you take advantage of your friend?
Not her.
Who?
Honestly, it wasn't nobody, man.
Well, that's what you wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on
Monthly about $1,800.
And how much do you earn monthly or every 2 weeks?
I get paid every week, so about $450.
So you earn about the same thing.
Right.
Do you have children?
Yes, I have one.
How old?
11.
Child live with you?
Yes, ma'am.
You have children?
Yes, ma'am.
How many?
Just one.
That child does not live with you.
No, ma'am.
That child is a minor.
Yes, he's 9 years old.
Mm-hmm. You pay child support?
I just give
Oh,
money.
you give what you can.
Yes.
I got it. Okay. Mr. Dykes, you owe her $1,800. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I was trying to help him get a car so he can get back and forth to work.
She actually gave the money to me, sir.
But that didn't work.
We was dating. I mean, because if she needed money for a car, I would have gave it to her.
He wanted to do what he wanted to do with his money and don't pay back his loans.
So that's what it was all about, the money.
The bank is closed. No more loans out to nobody.
Money and love don't mix.
The stage was set for the show.
You were doing a concert. Who was the singer? That would be you. You promised that you would pay them a nominal amount, but that you would pay them.
For him at the end of the event, he was gone already.
Did he take the money and run?
So why didn't you pay him?
He asked for a check. I did give him a check. I told him, I go, you know, you can't cash this.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Singer Brent Payne and sound tech Paul Pierce are suing Rob Almanza for failing to pay for a performance at a benefit.
Order. All rise. Your Honor, this is case number 384 on the calendar in the matter of Payne Pierce versus Almanza. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
You're Mr.?
I'm Mr. Pierce.
Who was related to him through marriage? You're Mr. Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
And the defendant is your son's father-in-law.
Yes, ma'am.
Who are you?
I'm Sheena Almanza. Payne.
Where's your husband?
He's not here.
Okay. What do you do for a living, sir?
I'm disabled.
Tell me what you do with these charity events.
Well, my charity is called Lone Rider Charities. I'm the one that is the only one. About 6 years ago, I designed a coin. I came up with this ideal that I wanted. I just designed it, and I started having it made, and I've now thanked over 7,000 veterans with it, along with police officers and firemen.
You sell these or trade them for money?
Absolutely not.
Well, what do you do with the coins?
When I see a veteran, I go up to them and I present myself. I let them know that I do this in memory of my father, and I have a special way to thank them, and then they usually...
Who pays for the coins?
Basically, most of the time I do with donations.
That's what I'm talking about. Look, this is about their lawsuit. One of them was supposed to sing. Who was the singer? That would be you, Mr. Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Pierce was his sound guy. You were doing a concert for charity. Their lawsuit is that you promised that you would pay them a nominal amount, but that you would pay them. And after the concert, who saw him riding off on his motorcycle?
We didn't see him. When we came looking for him at the end of the event, he was gone already, so.
How did he get to the event?
On a motorcycle.
Who was riding the motorcycle?
I saw him actually ride the motorcycle into the parking lot.
And the nature of your disability is?
I ended up getting anxiety and depression.
How long have you been on disability?
I think maybe about 2 months now.
Prior to that, what did you do?
I'm in sheet metal, structural steel, like a manager, supervisor.
How old are you? It's supposed to take place?
September 24th.
How many concerts have you put together?
That was my first time I had attempted at trying to do a benefit concert.
Yes, that is correct.
And did you take a venue?
Yes, I found the venue.
What was the venue?
They're called the Depot. It's like a bar and restaurant.
Did you have to rent it?
No, the owner and me have a relationship. He's a veteran. He's one of the veterans I
Just
thanked.
answer my question. Did you have to rent it or they donated it to you?
No.
Did you advertise the event?
Yes.
How?
We had flyers made and...
Who had flyers made?
Me and Mr. Payne.
Who paid for it?
His girlfriend at the time did that out of her heart. She just made us our flyers.
How else did you advertise the event?
When I go around doing my veteran thing, I go to American Legions, VFWs, just everywhere. And as I did that, I handed out my flyers and let them know that I was having a benefit concert.
How much were the patrons charged to go to the concert?
There was a $20 charge for the event.
And then a cash bar.
Yes.
How many people did the restaurant bar hold?
Their total, I believe, was 350.
How many people showed up?
In the vicinity of right around 55 people.
What was your arrangement to pay the plaintiffs?
I was hoping a lot of people were going to show up, and I was going to pay them.
Oh, 55 people did show up.
Yes.
So there was some money.
Yes, out of the 55, around 35 of them paid. Around 20 to 25 got let in free.
By whom?
Actually, it would be me. Because
that was nice.
That
was nice of you.
Well, when they came in...
How were you supposed to pay the plaintiffs?
Well, actually, it was due to the plaintiff. When they came in, they said that, no, we're here to present Brent Payne with a guitar or something like that. And they said, no, we were told we didn't have to pay. We're here just to do this presentation to him. So they showed up, and I was actually taken off guard, and
how much was he supposed to pay you?
His charge was $1,500 for the band. My charge was $900 for staging, sound, and lighting.
Did you discuss that with the defendant?
Yes, in advance.
When?
He first contacted me on the 19th.
Of what?
19th of September, I'm sorry. 4 days or 5 days before the event, so it was very last minute he contacted me. When he told me he was associated with Mr. Payne, I'd worked with Brent in the past, and I thought, okay, he's above board. So I gave him a great deal, and we
Well, what was the great deal? No, I'm asking you.
I'm sorry?
You clearly weren't busy 4 days in advance.
True.
So what was the great deal? I thought from reading these papers that this was really, you were doing it partially for charity and partially for him.
Like this event, for all the equipment, would have been close to $3,000 for staging, sound, lighting. For an event like that.
Did you actually do all the staging, all the lighting, as if there were going to be 350 people?
Everything as scheduled.
And you, sir? Tell me about your discussion with the defendant about money.
The early part of 2016, he had come to me to ask if I would be interested in doing a benefit concert for the...
How many people in your band?
6.
So you were actually making a couple $100 a piece for the evening?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you set the figure of $1,500, or did he?
No, I did. He asked me what I would do it for, and I said 15.
And what did he say to you?
He said, really?
He said, really?
Yes.
And then what happened?
Then we started talking about, he asked me, well, what would it take? What would the next steps be? What do you need? And I said, well, we need a venue. And he told me about the Corona Depot. And I said, well, how many does it hold? And he said, between 200 and 300. And I said, well, that'd be a good intimate crowd if we could get that many people in there. And then I told him about stage, lighting, sound reinforcement.
But he didn't do anything about that until 4 days before. Did you discuss that with him?
At that time?
No, later on, as you got closer. You said the beginning of 2016.
It was mentioned throughout the course of the few months.
Why did you wait until the end to get somebody to do this lighting and sound?
Mentioned a week before, when we had the flyers made, and I have one here, it shows that there's only 2 bands. I was doing this as best I could, and I had one band scheduled with Brent, and as he saw the flyer, and he was like, I always play in front of 2 bands. He goes, you have to get another band. So at the same time, he also said, hey, and how's the staging coming? How's the lighting? I'm like, I don't have any of that. I go, everything else is done, but you want an extra band? He goes, yes. He goes, I always play in front of 2 bands. So I started scrambling around to try to find another band in less than 5 days, and then I also had to scramble around and find a staging because the other bands didn't need lighting. They didn't need staging. It was a benefit concert. They were happy to play on the open ground that they had.
I don't know what they were happy to do, sir. You owe them so far $2,400.
Correct.
So why didn't you pay them?
Because I was depending on the benefit concert for the people showing up. I was using the proceeds to pay everybody.
Yeah, but that was not part of your discussion with them.
Yes, they knew that.
No, don't tell me what they knew. I didn't hear that was part of the discussion.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I am very new at what I was trying to accomplish.
I think that if you want to engage in charitable work while you're on something that you don't know.
I agree.
Good.
And later today,
Mr. Perez, if this is what it looked like when you finished, it's an awful job. I would actually be embarrassed for you to say that this was completed work.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Singer Brent Payne and sound tech Paul Pierce claim Rob Almanza never paid them for a benefit performance.
Now, I heard that he told you what his fee was for the lighting 4 days before. He doesn't know you from a hole in the wall, and he gave you a fee of a quote of $900. And you had discussed previously with the co-plaintiff $1,500 for the 6 members of his band. And I didn't hear any caveat that said, but you don't get anything unless we have a certain number of people.
No, I did not. I mean, you know, I guess I am very new at what I was trying to accomplish. And they knew that, and I know they knew, because one of them, and as far as Paul on the stage, he asked for a check. I did give him a check, and I have a text in it where I'm stating to him, because he goes, I told him, I go, you know, you can't cash this. I can hand you a check, but the proceeds will come in as the concert, and then I'll go to the bank, cash that check. But it's only if the proceeds come in.
Did he say that to you?
No, that conversation didn't happen. What did happen was I said to him I needed to be paid in full before I loaded it in, because I'm not going to go through the trouble.
Fine. And what did he say to you?
I said I'll accept a personal check on the day of the event, and if you have enough cash, you can give me cash and I'll give your check back.
I have the text right here.
I'd like to see it.
The text, by the way, came Monday after the event that he said your check is not good.
Just a second.
No, you can look at the date on it. It's right there.
I see what it says. It's perfectly clear. I hope you'll be okay with this. I can write you a check at noon, but the money for this function won't be in the bank until Monday. If you want, I can pay you in cash before you leave that night. Please let me know what you think on this matter. Paul, how about if you write me a check? No, that's not clear to me, sir. That's not clear to me. And I think that if you want to engage in charitable work while you're on disability, you should stick with something that you know, not something that you don't know.
I agree.
Good. Right now, you owe him $2,400. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I wish, you know, that someone that is actually part family would have worked with me on this instead of us being here in court.
You should have never came now if he would have just communicated with us.
I'm going to continue to thank our veterans, our police officers and firemen for their service.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Signs versus Perez, step forward.
Janelle Signs is suing handyman Christopher Perez for a poor paint job on her condo.
Miss Signs, you hired the defendant to paint your condo. You went out of town, he painted your condo, you had paid him. Now you want your money back because you were not satisfied with his job.
Not that I wasn't satisfied. He actually didn't finish the job, and he also lied to me and swindled that money out of me. While I was away, he got my mom...
Just a second. You want your money back?
Yes.
Mr. Perez says that when you actually came home, you looked at the work that he had done. Stand up. You looked at the work that he had done and you were satisfied. There were a couple of touch-ups that he said that you pointed out to him. He was more than happy to accommodate. He said, but then your father got sort of involved with the process, and he told your father to put Post-its and things that he wanted finished in a different way. And instead, what your father did was take a black pencil and make circles around the entire condo, which would have necessitated him repainting the entire place. Is that... Shh. That's your defense.
Yes, ma'am.
I see you have no evidence, Mr. Perez. It would seem to me that if there was an issue, you would have taken some photographs.
Set with the way the matters are going, so...
Well, then I would have taken photographs in order to establish that I did the job appropriately. How big was the condo that you painted?
Probably like 1,300 square feet.
And when did you take on the job?
When she took off to Bali for vacation. August 1st. I was recommended from a friend because I was going to do just painting. And what happened was the mom requested doing a texture on the walls, which is very difficult to do.
Just a second.
Yes.
When you spoke to the plaintiff,
yes,
you arranged with her to paint the condo.
Yeah, we were just do painting.
August.
Yes.
And how much money did she give you?
The job was for, I believe, $3,600, and she gave me $3,200.
Now, who did you speak to about putting texture on the walls?
It was the mom's idea to do all the smooth coating.
Was that after the plaintiff had gone on her trip?
No, we were all together.
And this is something that's difficult to do, texturizing the walls.
Yes, smooth coating is a very difficult thing. Oh, okay.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Had you ever done that before?
Yes.
How many times?
Probably 6 or 7 times. It's just something I don't do all the time, but I can do it. And I had another person helping me that was trained in that field.
Do you have photographs of the house?
Yes, I do. You could see the poor paint job he's done, and you'll see that things weren't smooth.
May I just... What is this that you're showing me?
That's the cabinets. He was also hired to paint the cabinets. I actually have the contract if you'd like to see it.
I would.
This is the first contract. And this will show you the payments at the top.
Is this after he finished the job?
Yes.
Just a second.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Perez, if this is what it looked like when you finished, it's an awful job.
Those are the outlets I used.
Just a second. Okay. It's an awful job.
Okay. I wasn't done.
I would actually be embarrassed for you to say that this was completed work.
It wasn't completed work. That's why I was trying to
Then why didn't you
fix it.
come back?
No. Don't speak to him.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She gave me $1,200, and I told her, hold on to $400. If there's any mistakes, anything you see, let me know, and I'll make corrections.
That's a lie.
So,
if you say another word, I'm dismissing your case. Do you understand that? Now it's clear.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Janelle's sign says, handyman Christopher Perez botched the painting of her condo.
Now, what do you mean it wasn't completed work?
well, after she came back from Bali, if there's any mistakes, anything you see, let me know, and I'll make corrections.
That's a lie.
So,
If you say another word, I'm dismissing your case. Do you understand that? Now it's clear. You may have a legitimate case, but if you interrupt him, I'm going to dismiss your case. We don't do that. Go.
So I just, I told her, I go, just if there's anything you need to do or see that's wrong, I'll make corrections. She said, okay, there are some areas that are, in the rooms that need to be touched up, so I did. So I came back the next day, patched everything, and repainted the whole apartment again. And then she was still, I guess...
What do you mean you painted the whole apartment again?
I patched everything, and I just painted the whole apartment, everything.
Well, that means that you did a miserable job the first time.
Well, I had to cover all the patch marks that I did.
Mr. Perez, this is terrible work.
That's a vent.
I don't care what it is. I have cabinets, I have vents. It's terrible work.
I wasn't finished. She wouldn't let me finish. I came back 3 or 4 times, and then when her father got involved, that's when everything went bad because he started writing on all the walls, and I wasn't able to get a chance to finish. I came back the next day with the guy, and we started floating all over everything again, and she just started talking to me,
Would you stand up, please, sir? Did you put these black marks all over the walls?
Yes, I did, because through the whole ceilings, walls.
I think that that's sort of outrageous. I mean, I've had painting done, and if something isn't right, you take a Post-it and you put it someplace. This is aggressive.
I'm sorry?
This is aggressive. My opinion, and my opinion here is the only one that counts, this kind of acting out is aggressive behavior.
The reason for that, Honor, is because it was in large areas, and you couldn't see it.
Then put a Post-it and say large area. Because in order to cover that up, that may not take one coat to cover up your aggressive behavior. That may take more than one.
That was primer that what they'd put on. It wasn't actual finished.
No, it was painted,
Well,
finished painting.
just a second. If it was primer, then he wasn't finished yet.
He claimed he was. I'm so sorry.
If it was primer, then he wasn't finished yet. I think you did a terrible job, Mr. Perez, and I would never use him again.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, did you hire someone else to repaint?
The
answer is either yes or no.
No, I personally did not.
Did anyone pay? You pay, and I'd like to see the bill. So you paid someone $450?
Correct.
Fine. And how much did you pay Mr. Perez?
I paid him $3,350.
And after this lake came and did the work that he did, how does the condo look?
The work that my dad and him did looks great.
No, I'm not talking about your dad and him. I'm talking about this paid bill for $450.
It looks great.
Great, fine. You're entitled to have a great-looking apartment for $3,350. You owe her $450.
Wait, Your Honor, can I speak?
You can do whatever you like.
It's not done. They only did the living room. I still have
Then
bathrooms.
Then you shouldn't have brought your case yet.
What do you mean?
Then you should have waited until the job was completed.
I didn't know I had given him so much money. My mom had paid him while I was in Bali.
$450. Then start communicating better with your parents. We're done here. Thank you.
Parties are excused. Step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I feel like he wasn't putting as much effort as he should have been.
7, and that's what I did. I put in 16, 18 hours.
He swindled me for more money.
There's always one bad apple every 10 years, so I got the bad apple.
You wanted a particular kind of cat. You found the defendant who was a breeder.
She went cross-country for the perfect kitty.
Which cat had you agreed to purchase when you traveled to Minnesota?
One of the females.
Is that correct?
No, it is not.
I know that that's a bone of contention in here.
Or was it all a sick trick?
The female was not available.
Why was she not available?
Because she had a cold.
What you're saying to me doesn't make sense.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Blair Booter is suing cat breeder Rebecca Ansari for breach of contract regarding the sale of a cat, vet bills, and fraud.
Order. All rise. This is case number 371 on the calendar in the matter of Buddha versus Ansari.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Have a seat, please.
Ms. Booter, you wanted a particular kind of cat.
Correct.
It's called a...
Devon Rex.
Have you had that breed been trolling on the internet? You found the defendant who was a breeder.
Correct.
You live in what state?
California.
And where do you live?
Minnesota, Minneapolis.
How long have you been breeding these Devon Rex cats?
17 years, Your Honor.
And did you see the litter of kittens that the defendant had?
Prior to traveling there?
Yes.
She sent me pictures, correct.
Okay. And how many kittens were in the litter?
There were 3.
Boys and girls?
There were 2 girls and 1 boy, I believe.
And which cat had you agreed to purchase when you traveled to Minnesota?
One of the females.
Is that correct?
No, it is not.
You say no, she did not. What kitten did she want?
She wanted the female, but the female was not available. The pictures I sent her were of the male. I have them, and her response of, are these the pictures of the male or female?
Can I see that?
Certainly.
When you say the female was not available, why was she not available?
Because she had a cold. Therefore, I would not offer her.
Well, if a kitten has a cold, that doesn't last forever. That lasts a week. That lasts 2 weeks.
I don't try and predict the future, Your Honor. I've learned that's not something I'm good at.
Well, I am. I am actually. If a cat has a cold for more than 2 weeks, it's not a cold. I mean, if that's the reason that you're giving me, that the cat was not available because she had a cold, and if she wanted a female cat, then she would have waited until the cold was over. I mean, what you're saying to me doesn't make sense.
Okay, there's a number of bacterial and viral diseases that all present respiratory infection. You cannot tell which one it is until the veterinarian goes through many weeks of process of elimination to try and figure out which thing treats it.
Well, I would like to see any conversation you had over the internet where you told her that the female was not available.
Well, the phone call is where we talked about that, and then I sent her the pictures of the one that was available so I can come close.
I would like to see an email where she tells you she wants the female. You say to her the female is not available. You have that?
No.
Did she discuss the female cat with you at all before you flew from California to Minnesota?
She only discussed that it was available for purchase, but her sister was not available because she wished to keep her for breeding purposes.
So one female was available?
Correct.
And one female was not because she was going to keep one?
Yes.
Do you have the other female from the litter?
Yes, I do.
That you kept for breeding?
Yes, I do. Here it is. The next few pages show the pictures you're asking for.
Great. Well, is this the cat that you bought?
It could have been her brother. Those are the pictures of the male that was in question.
Oh, well, this says quite clearly thank you for sending the picture, because you said, I feel uncomfortable about traveling without seeing a picture of the cat.
Correct.
And you say to her, I appreciate it so much. She says, the boy. And you say, he looks wonderful, thank you. So when you went there, you were not going for the female kitten, you were going for the boy. Because you say to her, I'm having a bit of a hard time reconciling myself to get a kitty that I haven't seen. So she sends you a picture of the boy, and you said, I love him, he's beautiful. You have anything to show me that suggests that before you went out there, you changed your mind and wanted the girl?
I had always wanted the girl.
No. That's not what this says.
By my comment to the photo, it was acknowledging that it was a good-looking cat.
No, that's not what this acknowledges. I bought enough cats and dogs like this to know that that's not what you're acknowledging here. You say, I want to see the picture of the kitty that I'm traveling to see. She sends you a picture of the male. You specifically ask her, is that the boy or the girl? She says it's the boy. You say, oh, he's beautiful. So I don't believe you that you went there for the female cat. I know you have to be careful, because I read your complaint and I read her answer. So let's keep it truthful, because if you're not going to be truthful with me, I'm not going to believe anything that you say to me. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. So you went there, and the intention was to buy the boy, because that's the only picture that she sent you.
No, it's not the only picture she sent me.
Show me a picture of the female that she sent you.
I didn't print out the kitten picture.
So the answer is you don't.
Never expressed the intention.
I don't care what you expected. That's the evidence that I have before me. I don't have any other evidence. Now you want to tell me, and I want you to be aware of the fact that I now believe that you traveled from California to Minnesota to pick up the male kitten. And when you got there, you want to tell me what happened.
So she picked me up from the airport and then brought me to her home, where she had all of her cats around the house. And she wanted me to get to know several of the cats to try to decide which to purchase. So I got to be around her cats for a while, and after coming back from dinner, she suggested that perhaps some of them could spend the night with me, and so I could get a better feel for their personalities. And in the morning, she still said...
Just a second. Did you take any of them back to your hotel? How many?
Well, I stayed in her home.
That was nice. So you stayed in her home around the kittens.
Yes.
And
I stayed the night with our current female and her brother, so the two within the litter, as well as one older white one that was for sale.
And
in the morning, she said, well, have you decided? And I said, yeah, I would like to purchase the female. And she said, okay, great, let me get her ready for travel. And so she cleaned her ears, she trimmed her nails, and she said, oh, by the way, it has a little bit of a teary eye. Here's some antibiotic salve. That should take care of it, no problem. She gave no sort of indication that...
Take the boy.
Because she led me to believe that it would be...
It's not going to happen for you.
What?
Your case. It's not going to happen for you. You went there with a view towards taking the male cat. Now you get there and you decide you want the female. She told you that something was wrong with the female cat. You elected to take the female cat anyway. Where you were going there for the boy, that's clear. You elected to take a cat that you knew something was wrong with. And it wasn't as if you were taking it from Los Angeles to Venice Beach. You were going from California to Minnesota. So that's a big risk. And it's not that I haven't purchased cats before. So I understand that. Sometimes you fall in love and you say, oh, but I'm in love with it and I can take care of it. But there's something not smart about taking an animal halfway across the country that you know there's something wrong with when you have a perfectly healthy cat that you actually went there to purchase.
I asked her if I could reserve the female cat prior to traveling out there.
Show me.
Said, sure.
Just a second. Show me that.
On the first page.
Just a minute. This is February 22nd at 11:59 a.m. This is days later at 5:50 p.m. So 5 days later, you're still talking about the boy.
I never said I would like to reserve the male.
Okay. You want to give her back the cat? She'll give you back your money?
No, we're attached to the cat
Just a
at this
second.
point.
You're attached to the cat. Well, then you can keep the cat and not get your money back. Now, one of the things that you are suing her for is you're suing her because she didn't give you the papers for the cat. Okay, you have the CFA papers for the cat?
No, I have a CFA papers for the cat.
A.
Yes.
May I see them?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that for her?
Yes, it can be.
It's what?
It can be. I didn't know which way it was going to go.
Okay, that's the way it's going. It's her cat. She doesn't want to give back the cat. She loves the cat. She wants the papers. She had to take care of the cat. It turned out to be more than a cold in the cat's eye. She shouldn't have taken the cat from Minnesota back to California. Should have taken that nice little blue boy. Okay, would you give that to her? Now you have a countersuit, Miss Ansari. Your claim is that the plaintiff posted defamatory things about you on the internet. I'd like to see what they were.
I don't see the paragraph that's supposed to go with that, but that's the result, the C. Moved up to a C because of what was submitted.
Well, I didn't see what was submitted.
Yes, and
And if it was her review of what her experience was, she's allowed to do that.
She received a C rating because she failed to respond to the complaint.
I don't know why she received this rating, and you can't tell me that unless you have someone from the Better Business Bureau, or unless you can confirm that in a writing from the Better Business Bureau. Can you?
No.
Okay, fine. Do you have what she wrote?
It looks like that may have been weeded out, Your Honor.
Okay.
My apologies.
Fine. She now has papers for the cat. This case is over. Everybody's happy. You have the cat that you like, and you have no trouble anymore. Got it?
Thank you, Your Honor.
We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I tried to make a wonderful experience for someone brand new to this.
It's been very stressful. It's hard to see her suffering every day.
Found airfare, stayed in my home, chauffeured.
Because we're constantly having to wipe her eye.
Provided a $35 tube of medication.
So it's been very, very frustrating.
And what I get is being attacked.
Have a veterinarian check the animal first.
I shouldn't have been accommodating.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Perricone versus Bradshaw. Step forward.
Richard Perricone is suing his niece, Nicole Bradshaw, for misappropriating funds meant for the care of his mother.
Is your mother's granddaughter?
Yes.
Is she your brother's child, or?
Yes.
How old are you?
38.
How old is your mother?
96.
Unfortunately, this is what the case is about. There was a period of time when the defendant was responsible for your mother, for her physical care.
Right.
You were living in a different state. She was living in the same city and state as your mother. And for a while, your mother was living in her house. Mother got sick. She went to the hospital. She subsequently came out of the hospital, went to a facility. It is your claim that during a brief period of time when Ms. Bradshaw was responsible for your mother, she misappropriated funds that were your mother's.
Yes, ma'am.
Between what period of time and what period of time?
It's probably when she got out of the hospital in January.
January what?
The 16th.
Until what date?
It was November 20th. I went up to North Carolina and took my mother out.
Took your mother out of where?
The assisted living facility that we put her in.
I'll get to you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What kind of work do you do, Mr. Perricone?
I'm retired, ma'am.
So you don't do anything?
No.
Is there any reason that you can tell me why you didn't go and see your mother while she was in the hospital? And to celebrate her 95th birthday, that would seem to be an appropriate thing for a child to do.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Nicole Bradshaw misappropriated funds meant for the care of his mother.
Now, the assisted living facility that your mother was in what city and state?
It was in Nashville, North Carolina.
And in what city and state were you living?
I was living in Jacksonville, Florida.
Between January 16th and November 28th, how many visits did you make to Nashville, North Carolina to see your mother?
None.
Ms. Bradshaw, between January 16th and November 28th, were you living in Nashville, North Carolina?
No, Your Honor. I was living in Rocky Mount. It was 7 miles away.
But you were in North Carolina?
Yes, ma'am.
And the facility that your grandmother was in was what facility?
In the time my grandmother left the hospital, she was first located to a rehab facility. So there was a gap between when she left my home and when she went into the assisted living facility.
Okay, so first she went into the hospital?
Yes, ma'am.
What was the nature of her hospitalization?
My grandmother got the flu, a very, very, very bad case of the flu.
Okay, she was 94 at the time?
95 at the time, ma'am.
95.
Yes, ma'am.
How long was she hospitalized?
It was a little bit after Christmas, I would say about December 28th until January 16th. And then she was moved into the facility. We celebrated her 96th birthday in the rehab. So she was there for quite some time.
What kind of work do you do, Mr. Perricone?
I'm retired, ma'am.
Any reason that you can tell me why you didn't go and see your mother while she was in the hospital?
Well, I didn't have time. I'm taking care of my daughter.
How old's your daughter?
My daughter's 22. She's disabled.
Who else lives with you?
My wife.
And then your wife can take care of your daughter so that you can go see your
My
mother
wife was working.
once in 8 months. And to celebrate her 95th birthday. That would seem to be an appropriate thing for a child to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Now, during the time that your mother was not living in your state, you were not physically responsible for her, and you did not visit her. What kind of misappropriation of money are you alleging?
Well, I told Nicole that I would give Nicole my mother's Social Security and my father's VA pension, which amounted to $2,250, and she could have that as long as she took care of my mom.
So?
And from what I understand from my mom...
So you can't tell me what you understand from your mother.
Nicole and I spoke on the phone numerous times about what my mother wanted and what she needed to have for her. She enjoyed certain things. And Nicole would complain to me, I don't have time to go get these things, all right? And your mother doesn't need all these things. She's in the facility. And I said, well, for $2,250, you should make a point to get
Just a second. Let's figure out first, how much was the facility?
$1,850.
So we're not talking about $2,250. We're talking about $400.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Okay.
Judge Judy continues.
5 days a week.
And then?
And then my grandmother continued to tell my uncle that I wasn't providing her the things that she needed.
Okay. Give me an idea of what you used that other money for.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Richard Perricone says his niece, Nicole Bradshaw, misappropriated funds meant for the care of his mother.
Now, the facility, which you paid for, I assume you paid for.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am.
Was $1,850. Then we're talking about $400 that you think this young lady owes your mother because she didn't get her the things that she wanted or misappropriated that $400 over a period of time.
Right.
Show me.
I can't show. I don't know what she did with the money.
How often did you visit your grandmother?
In the beginning, I went quite often, 5 days a week.
And then?
And then my grandmother continued to tell my uncle that I wasn't providing her the things that she needed. I was babysitting at the time. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 2 children, and the time dwindled.
Whatever. So in the beginning it was okay, and then it got to be a little too much.
Once she got acclimated and made friends there, my time got back some.
Okay. Give me an idea of what you used that other money for.
My grandmother had a phone in her room. I added her phone to, I paid that together. My grandmother enjoyed club crackers, which she had 19 with every single meal. She loved ginger ale. She drank Boost and Ensure every single day. She had twice. Ice cream, decaffeinated coffee.
Okay, listen to me. When you decided to move your mother to Florida,
yes, ma'am.
Where is she currently living?
She's living in Florida, St. Augustine, about 20 miles from me.
No.
So just, how many miles from you?
About 20.
Go ahead.
I actually Googled the distance between the facility and where he lives, and it's over an hour. St. Augustine from Jacksonville is
Just
an
a second.
hour.
Give me the name of the facility.
Silver Lake Retirement.
And how much is it a month?
$2,350.
Yes.
I called. It's $1,900.
If I was going to call Silver Lake, how much would they tell me it is?
The facility is $1,995, $300 for services. Services comes in a different category for people that really...
Fine. So she's spending, according to you, $2,350. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me why you moved your mother over an hour away?
It was the closest facility I could find in Jacksonville. That was the brand new facility. That's why I put her in there.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com.
Okay, does your mother have any money other than this $2,250 a month?
No, ma'am.
And are you buying her Boost and her Ensure?
Oh, yes,
and
definitely.
How often do you go there since November 28th?
3 times a week.
Great. Okay. Now, Mr. Perricone, I think that what you did is you went down. Now she's your responsibility. Miss Bradshaw maybe cut off a little bit more than she could chew when she took over taking care of an elderly lady with some illnesses. But I'm not getting involved in how she spent and what she used with the additional couple of bucks that she had as a result of being a short-term payee. She took care of your mother. For that, you should pay her. It's not her responsibility to take care of your mother. Legally, it's not your responsibility to take care of your mother. But between you and a grandchild, it's your responsibility to take care of your mother. And instead of suing her, you should say, look at me. Thank you.
No,
We're done here.
Sorry.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
And on the next Judge Judy.
She wanted a little more attention from me than I can give her, so she would tell my uncle that she was out of something.
When I speak to her on the phone, I says, Mom, is Nicole buying you your Boost? Is your ginger ale?
After I had just dropped it off, and I would go to the store and bring it up there, and she had...
Nicole comes in here and tells me, you don't need to drink ginger ale. You don't need to have your club crackers.
Absolutely not.
And she never bought the stuff she claims she did.
She's just old and lonely.
Well, if you're going to have a family member help them out, you got to make sure you have it in writing, like you do anybody else.
My uncle was all I had. He was a father figure to me, and him turning on me the way that he did was gut-wrenching.
You think you could trust family, but in this case, you really can't. She just abused my mother mentally and financially.
And I believe that maybe one day he'll see it from my point of view and maybe forgive me, and that's the most important thing.
It is your claim the place was robbed. You actually think Miss Frazier stole all that property.
Yes.
A renter who pulled an inside job.
I called Betty and I was like, why'd you take my stuff?
Doesn't look to me as if she can carry away a whole bunch of property.
She had 3 other people.
Or landlords looking to fleece a tenant.
Her girlfriend started texting really nasty texts saying she needed more money, probably for drugs.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Betty Frazier is suing her former roommate for stealing her belongings and making threats.
Order. All rise. In this case, number 354 on the calendar, in the matter of Frazier versus Anderson Worley.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Ms. Frazier, you were renting a room, according to your complaint, from one of the defendants.
I'm Betty.
I know. You're Miss Frazier.
Mm-hmm.
You were renting a room from which one of you? And your last name is?
Anderson.
From Miss Anderson. Miss Anderson, how did you find the plaintiff as a roommate?
I've known her for a while, and she went in and had surgery done, and she had nobody to take care of her after the surgery. So I volunteered her to come to my home until she got better.
Do you work?
Yes.
Who do you work for?
I'm a massage therapist.
Ms. Frazier, and how do you support yourself?
I have Social Security.
How long have you known Miss Anderson?
A couple of years, but our
Where did
kids
you
went
meet
to
her?
school together.
Where did you meet her?
Actually, in Pollock Pines a few years back.
When did you begin renting a room from them?
The end of May.
And how much was your rent?
$300 and half the utilities.
At some point in June, you were leaving. You were going out of town for a while.
Yeah.
Rent. You went to the bank and you took out cash.
Yes.
To leave for June's rent. Are you okay? Do you want to sit down?
I have my witness here that can testify for that.
About what?
About leaving the rent money.
Who is your witness?
Crystal.
How is she related to you?
She's not. She just gave me a ride to go get the money, and she witnessed me putting it in the envelope on the sink.
Your last name?
Crystal Encinas.
How do you know?
My mom's her in-home service worker. She's the one that does caregiving for her. My mom was unable to take her that day. I was able to get off work, and I took her around 6:30. It was June 3rd, right before she was leaving. We went to Safeway and took her to the ATM so she could pull some money out, and then we went to Safeway, and she's unable to carry groceries in, so I took in water and put it on the counter, and as she was doing that, she said, oh, let me remember to put the rent, and I saw her put in a pink envelope and put it on the counter next to the water, and then I left at the residence that she was living with Kathy.
So you just left her. She says, I have to leave rent money.
Yeah, she said, I'm going to leave this, because I reminded her, I said, you know, don't forget to leave it on the counter, because she was leaving the next day with her mom, and that's kind of what my mom does. My mom's sister had passed away, and so I left after I made sure that all her groceries were put away and everything, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, now, at some point, it is your claim, Miss Anderson, that the place was ransacked and robbed. And was that when your property was taken, as well as Miss Frazier's?
Yes.
During that robbery?
Yes.
You actually think Miss Frazier was the one who stole all that property?
Yes.
Doesn't look to me as if she can carry away a whole bunch of property.
She had 3 other men that came to the house.
Who saw that?
Her daughter told my son.
Did you have a conversation with her daughter?
Yes, I did.
What's her daughter's name?
Kathy.
What's your daughter's phone number?
530-88.
Do you know if that's her phone number?
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
Tell me your last name.
Gertz.
Mr. Gertz, when did you have this conversation with her daughter, Kathy?
I don't know the date.
Was that after the apartment, the Anderson apartment, was robbed?
Yes.
What made you call Kathy?
I didn't call her. She called me, and she wanted to thank me for a game that I gave her. And I was like, what game? And she goes, sprint car video game. And I told her I didn't leave no game there. And she goes, well, there's a game here that you left me. And I was like, no. And she goes, well, there's some other things also that I think might be yours. That's when she told me about the items that were taken from the house.
She didn't know that they were taken with that, but she know. Did you move in with your daughter?
I lived with my daughter before I rented.
After?
After, yes.
You lived with your daughter?
Yes.
Are you living with your daughter, Kathy, now?
No.
No. Who are you living with now?
I'm living by myself now.
Who does Kathy live with?
Her grandmother passed, and she's living in her grandmother's house right now in the Bay Area.
Who owns that house?
Her grandmother.
Oh, her grandmother's dead. So now who owns
I'm
the
not
house?
sure.
What?
Probably her son. I'm not sure.
And when did she move into the house?
She left about April.
And your house was robbed sometime in June or July?
August.
In August. Where was she living in August?
Bay Area.
In her grandmother's house. Did you see her?
I haven't seen her since.
Since when?
April.
So when you spoke to her, allegedly, Mr. Gertz, and I'm not accepting this for the truth of it, but I'm trying to figure out which team you are, the good guys or the bad guys. When you spoke to her and she said she had things in the house, what house?
Her house.
In the Bay Area?
No. Where? At her mobile home in Placerville.
She have a mobile home?
We bought a mobile home together. She moved out. I stayed there.
She moved out when?
No.
Well, you weren't living there.
I had left.
Because you had surgery.
Because we were going to sell the house. I moved in with her, and things didn't work out, so I came back to the mobile. And in the meantime, her grandmother got sick, and she went to the Bay Area.
Is what you're telling me, Mr. Gertz, that her daughter Kathy related to you that her mother and 3 men took property from the home? I want you to be very careful what you tell me.
Yes and no. She called me and told me that...
she had the video game.
Yes, the video game, two Xboxes, and a stereo receiver that I had in my room.
You live there also?
Yes.
Okay, and what did you say? I
was like, really? And she's like, yeah. So, like, a couple days went by, and I called Betty, and I was like, why'd you take my stuff, you know? I had nothing to do with what's going on between you and my mom, so why'd you take my stuff?
Oh, so which one is your mother?
Kathy.
What was going on between them, Mr. Gertz?
Actually, I don't really know, you know, because I want to stay out of it, but I know that my stuff got taken.
Now, what was going on between the plaintiff and your mom?
They were disputing.
Disputing what?
Money that was supposed to be left there, and it wasn't left there.
You mean this cash for the money for the rent?
Yes.
So now I have you speaking to Kathy and some stuff that was yours turned up in the mobile home.
No.
Who did?
I don't know. From what she told me, that she had three people that came and helped her.
Who told you that?
Betty.
That's Betty?
Yes.
Now, so that makes my life easier. Tell me when you had this conversation with Betty. You said, why would you take my stuff?
Right.
Because I didn't do anything to you. I'm not having a dispute with my mother over the rent that she allegedly left, that somebody else took. Why did you take my stuff? What did she say?
That she didn't do it, that the guys that helped her, whatever, might have grabbed it, she would try
to
helped her get her stuff.
So she had guys come and help her move her stuff.
Well, she had to because she don't really, you know, she doesn't move too good, you know?
No, I know. But she said to you, the guys that I may have had that helped me move my stuff may have taken your stuff?
Yes.
Is that what she said to you?
Yes.
When did she have this conversation with you?
A couple days after I talked to Kathy. I'm not too good with dates, but it was like a week after I talked to Kathy.
And where did this conversation take place?
Over the phone.
You called her?
Yes.
She answered you?
Yes.
So this is what your lawsuit is. Your lawsuit is that somebody took your stuff.
I went to the Bay Area to my daughter,
I understand. Your lawsuit accuses the defendants of taking your stuff.
Yes.
They took your stuff.
Okay. I have pictures of my belongings in her house. Okay.
Yeah. And?
I went to the Bay Area with a suitcase.
I don't care.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You wrote to her, all your stuff is at Goodwill in Folsom.
I told her to go look at Goodwill in Folsom.
No, that's not what you wrote. No, that's not what you wrote. You wrote, all your stuff is at Goodwill in Folsom, and then you called her a name.
And later today,
This is your first car?
No, second.
What happened?
Sorry. The day slip.
Don't speak.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just waiting for her to turn off the phone, which is actually what you were told to do
trying.
before.
Okay,
Can't you
power
just
off.
turn it off?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Betty Frazier says former roommate Kathy Anderson and Kathy's friend Terry Worley stole her property and threatened her. Kathy is countersuing for rent, property damage, and stolen belongings.
What?
That's all I have.
that's
She
not-
kept everything for something that she needed extra cash. Her girlfriend started texting me really nasty texts saying she needed drugs, but she needed more money, and I told her I'd already paid her money.
Okay. Is that the proof that you have pictures of your stuff, and when you came back, your stuff wasn't there?
She texts me and tells me that she has my things. I'm on a train.
Now, just a second. I would like to see the text where she says she has your things.
Right here.
Do you want to see if you can get her a stool or something first?
And here's a police report, and after...
No, I don't want a police report. I want to see the text
right there
where she says she has your stuff. Who's Terry? Well, you said to her all of her stuff is in Goodwill.
No, that was the day after because
Just a
I
second.
told her...
All your stuff is at Goodwill in Folsom.
She didn't answer the phone for 5 weeks.
Just a second. True. I'm just asking you.
I said that.
You wrote to her, all your stuff is at Goodwill in Folsom.
I told her to go look at Goodwill in Folsom.
No, that's not what you wrote.
Oh, I thought that was.
No, that's not what you wrote. You wrote, all your stuff is at Goodwill in Folsom, and then you called her a name.
I called her a lot of names, I'm sorry, but she wouldn't respond to any of our phone calls for 5 weeks.
She said, all your stuff is at Goodwill in Folsom.
I got her to respond that way. She wasn't coming back. She told Kathy she wasn't coming back. It's in my text.
Mr. Gertz, I have one question for you. Did you ever get your stuff back from Kathy?
Yes.
You got it all back?
Yes.
What did you get back?
2 Xbox games and my stereo receiver.
Did you physically go to the trailer to get them back? On what date?
I don't know.
So that's why you're not a plaintiff in this cross-complaint, because you got all your stuff back.
Basically.
What's basically? What is that basically? Is a filler word?
I got my stuff back.
When you went to get your stuff back, was any property there that belonged to your mother? Is not an answer.
I want to say that there were some blankets that my grandmother made that I seen, some Afghans or something like that.
But you got your stuff back.
Yes, ma'am.
Your case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you.
Please excuse, you may step out.
She's got a drug problem.
I know that she's taken like 10 Oxycontins a day, so she's probably misconstrued.
She wanted more money.
Everything was fine. She just left to go to the funeral and never came back.
That's why I was moving out.
I provoked her pretty violently, verbally.
I can't trust anybody.
Just can't trust everybody.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Cox versus Morgan. Step forward.
Gloria Cox is suing Adrian Morgan for a refund of a car down payment.
This is not a used car for your granddaughter?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Morgan had a used car lot. He was somebody that you knew. He had been a friend, contacted him, and ultimately went in with your granddaughter and purchased a car. On what date?
That was on the 22nd of September, Your Honor.
Of this year?
Yes, ma'am, 2016.
Okay. And the purchase price of the car was $3,200?
Originally, he had came to, with all the taxes and stuff, $3,700.
$3,700.
Yes, ma'am.
And you gave him a $500 deposit.
Yes, ma'am.
And signed the paperwork.
Yes, ma'am.
And your granddaughter, this is your granddaughter, she drove the car off the lot.
The next day, she picked up the car.
So that would be on September 23rd.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you with her when she picked up the car?
No, I wasn't.
Stand up here a second. Your last name is?
Jones. Jones.
Ms. Jones. When you picked up the car on September 23rd, where did you go?
After I picked up the car? Mm-hmm. I think I went home.
I want you to think. It wasn't so long ago. Where did you go? You picked up the car. What time did you pick up the car? Don't answer for her.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
This is the four corners of the contract. He could tell you, I'm going to guarantee this car for your lifetime. If it doesn't say that in this written contract, it doesn't exist.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Gloria Cox says Adrian Morgan sold her an Acura that turned out to be a lemon. She is suing for the return of her deposit.
Okay. What time did you pick up the car?
After I got out of school, so it was about 2 or 3. I told him I'll be there.
2 or 3. And this is your first car?
No, second.
What happened?
Sorry. Did they slick around?
Don't speak.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just waiting for her to turn off the phone, which is actually what you were told to do
sorry.
before.
Okay,
Can't you
power
just
off.
turn it off?
Power off.
What happened to your first car?
The engine went out. It was
Just a second.
overheated. Okay.
The engine went out with the first car that you had. After how long?
Maybe a month after I had it.
And do you remember where you got that car from?
No, because I didn't go with my aunt to buy it. She bought it for me.
Is this your aunt or your grandmother?
This is my grandmother.
Grandmother. So your aunt bought you the other car, and you didn't go with her. She gave you that car. You had a short period of time and the engine blew.
Yes.
And when was that?
It was in June.
So you were without a car for a couple of months, and your grandmother pitched in and bought you this car. Now you have a new car that you want to show off. So you picked up the car, and now I want you to think, where did you go?
To get the oil changed.
Why did you go?
When I first get a car, I should always get an oil change and the tune-up. So I went to Valvoline and got the oil change.
You went to who?
Valvoline.
Okay, so you went to a place and had them work on the car.
Yes.
And you drove there.
Yes.
And do you remember how long they worked on the car?
It was probably for like 15 minutes. It wasn't that long.
And then where did you go?
Just driving around.
Did you pick up any friends?
Yes, I had friends with me. They was already with me.
They went with you to pick up the car?
One friend did, yes.
And then did you pick up other friends?
Not that same day.
The next day?
Yes.
And how many friends did you pick up the next day?
2.
Was the next day a school day?
It was a school day, but it was senior skip day.
What does that mean?
That's the day you don't go to school and you go to the beach, but I never went to the beach.
A skip day, they call it?
Yes.
It's a what?
Senior skip day. They all skip out school
So
for that
the
day.
next day you had, which is now the 24th, right? September 24th, you took 3 of your friends and went to skip day. Where did you go?
We never got to go to the beach because my car was acting up. And plus my dad said no. So we just drove around, basically.
So you drove around. Where did you drive to?
Oak Ridge side of town.
And how many miles is that away from where you picked up the girls?
I don't know, maybe like...
How long did it take you to get back, please? So what happened is ultimately within, I don't know, a couple of days, a week, the car blew. You again had trouble with an engine with the car, and you brought the car, Miss Cox, back to Mr. Morgan, and you want your deposit back.
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Yeah, you don't get your deposit back. This car is sold as is. It says right here in the contract.
Yes, even
You
though,
don't get-
Your Honor, he promised after I told him it broke down the second day after she got this car, and she took it to get an oil change, and they said they already had an oil leak.
Just a second.
In it.
As is.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what your contract says. As is.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Go ahead.
When I went up there with my friend to go pick up the car the same day, he said, if you have any problems with this car, you can come back.
I don't care. This is the written contract. This is the 4 corners of the contract. He could tell you, I'm going to guarantee this car for your lifetime. If it doesn't say that in this written contract, which is the 4 all puffing, have any problem with the car, bring it right back and I'll take care of it. So that was a very expensive 2 days you drove around in this car. And the next time you buy a car, I suggest you take it to a mechanic. You make that arrangement and you let a mechanic look at it and say, now I'll buy the car. But if you sign a bill of sale and a contract, and this bill of sale and this contract says, as is, that's how you purchase the car. So fortunately, you didn't pay him any more money, and he has no counterclaim. So that was a very expensive 2 days. It cost your grandmother $500. We're done. Thank you.
Excuse me, step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy,
I thought that was pretty dirty of you.
Well, I sold her a good car.
You guaranteed me you would give her a reliable ride back and forth to school.
And they satisfied with the car.
He needed $350.